What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of I'll Call You Right Back podcast with me, your host. Jesus, what a week. Man, there's so much insane shit that happened. So first things first, I went and saw the Raconteurs last night, and Jesus, we were front row, first row. I won a giveaway with Third Man Records, and my buddy Dylan, who also is in Third Man Records, he won the giveaway too, and it allowed you to get in the venue early. So we were front fucking row for Jack White ripping your face off with guitar. It's just, it was such an insane experience. And like my cousin John, me and Dylan have seen Jack White, numerous times. But my cousin who we went with, he's never seen them, and he was like, "Wow, to like see him front row for the first time, it's gonna be insane." And like Jack White is on the level of like, if our parents, I speak whenever I say our parents, I'm talking about my parents, like 60s, whatever, early 60s. My dad grew up on the cream of the crop, like all that, like Led Zeppelin, Jimi Hendrix, all this shit. And it's like those were legendary people in our parents' day, like Jack White, and like all of his musical acts are like like you'd be dumb not to be able to compare them together as far as like, years from now, Jack White is going to be like our, what Led Zeppelin is to our parents. It's like that. He's really like a rock and roll god. And it was just insane. Like the whole show was just bananas. He was, the dude's an animal, could play anything under the sun. Seeing him and how things are done, like we're sitting there waiting because we got in early, so like we see the bands like setting shit up, and I'm watching these dudes, these like roadies setting up this stage, and first thing we see is like I see this dude walk up to set up Jack's mic. Excuse me. And he brings out a tape measure and he like measures the height of this microphone, and it's just so like I don't know why that like stuck with me so much. I was just like, damn, like they're so particular that like measure this microphone. And I don't know, it was just a bananas concert. I was so pumped to be there. It was really, really a great time. Other thing, I've been ripping through Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad is such a good show. Haven't watched it in years, and like I was just like, you know what, I'll start this series over again. I don't remember a lot of it, so I just been watching it and just like, damn, like how good is Breaking Bad? If you've never seen it, Bryan Cranston he's a chemistry teacher, and he starts cooking meth with the next student. And it's bananas. So much wild shit's been happening lately. Like today, for instance, I recorded the biggest podcast I've ever recorded, hands down. I was deciding if I should like tell people now, but like, fuck it, I'm gonna scream it off of the mountaintops. I recorded a podcast with Mikey and Big Bob this morning, and those were like some of my white whales. I've talked about it on here numerous times. It's like those dudes in the city, I've laughed numerous times from them, and it's, they give people so much joy. They do so much awesome shit, and I've been working on trying to get them on the podcast, and it fucking happened. And it honestly could not have went better. I'm going to drop the podcast in a couple weeks. I got video for it, like special, secret, not secret, but like surprise. Like I got some video footage this time, like first podcast ever where there's actually like video and shit like that. I'm going to drop it in 2 parts. And it'll be coming out. Just give me some time. Like I just did this. I'm so excited about it. Got some dope photos from Justin Boyd. He took some photos, and I had a buddy, Brian Skagline. He did some video, and those dudes really, really helped me out. But I am super excited to get that done and get some like different content for you, because like I always do the same content. I'm trying to like progress and like make some shit happen with this. So like I want to do some cool shit, and fortunately enough, I got good friends, and people like Mikey and Big Bob were nice enough to take the time to, it's 2 hours plus. We sit there and we talk for 2 hours plus, and it was fucking fantastic. But stay tuned for that. Follow me on Instagram at I'll Call You Right Back. Subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss anything. I really appreciate everyone listening. I still see the numbers growing, and it's just awesome to me. So anyway, the reason that everyone is here, without further ado, this week I sit down with another past guest. His name is Cody Baker. Cody Baker has been on the podcast before, and Cody Baker is basically, I asked him whenever we weren't recording, I said, what would you call yourself? And he said a problem solver. And that's what he is. He makes shit happen. And like that whole podcast is basically about like, how he kind of came to be the move maker that he was. So if you want to listen to that and get like a little bit backstory, go back in the catalog, look for him, Cody Baker. I don't know the number offhand. I'm sorry, but go back, check that one out. But this podcast, I wanted to bring him back on because recently, like a few weeks ago, he did a show called Creatives Drink 10. And, every time he not every time, but he does these parties, not parties, but events, installations, he calls them, where he just has like, he gets reps to like get him some alcohol. Like they're free events with artist type people, creative mind type people, good music, just good vibes, everything like that. And we talk about that. And he's done, I think he's done 9 now, including the one that just happened, which was CD10. And this show I went to, it was at Stage AE. It had 14 musical acts. It had 6 different custom drink stations. It had art upstairs. It had, handmade leather goods. Like it was just such a unique experience. And like I never been to any of his events before. And CD10 was like the first one. And like I knew it was going to be a big deal because like you see Stage AE, you see everyone jumping all over it. You see, he made a post on Instagram about like, some people comment so we could figure out who to put on this bill. And the post got over 12,000 comments. And you're just like, holy fuck, like 12,000 people commented on this shit. And you're just like, God, like 12,000 people in Pittsburgh, like we're trying to get into this fucking bill. And it was such a cool experience to be able to go there and see it and like kind of see how it all like to see the finished product. He had a really dope setup. Everything looked great, but everyone always sees the finished product. They never see the shit that people have to trudge through beforehand. And this podcast, like I wanted to talk to Cody about like all the trials and the tribulations and all the ups and downs that he had to go through to plan such like this was a big deal for sure. All in the papers, like a lot of like the biggest musical acts in the city performed on this bill. And it's just like, it's just a young dude, 25, and he's just out there fucking getting it. And it's really, really motivational to someone like me. Like I look at what he does and I see what he does, and it's so sick. And he's someone that makes it feel attainable. Some people might think that it's not possible to do these things, but it really is interesting to hear how he makes it come to play. And this is a great episode, and it's all about this show and how it came to be, and like pretty much all the shit he had to deal with to make it happen. And it was super interesting, and it's revealing, and it makes you have a different respect for the people that take the time to make this shit happen. So what number am I on? I feel like the last couple weeks I've been slipping up and not knowing what number I'm on. But this one's 83 this week. Okay, so without further ado, episode 83 of I'll Call You Right Back podcast with Cody Baker.
I gotta use the telephone.
Hello?
Telephone.
I'll call you right back. Call you right back.
Telephone.
I'll Call You Right Back podcast. that place, whenever I walked by, it smelled great, and I was like, damn, I don't know what smells so good. But then I ended up looking over there, and I was like, that smells fire.
Yeah, it's good.
Are they
And,
newer?
They're like a year or two old, maybe. Let's go with 3 or 4 years actually. And their whole thing, it's like a what's the rock and roll restaurant? Hard
Rock
Rock
and Roll?
Cafe.
Oh, yeah.
Hard Rock Cafe.
Yeah.
So like how that's like music inspired, it's the same thing, but like on a coffee shop scale. So they have like a guitar player do like acoustic music like on Thursdays or Fridays.
That's
all,
dope.
All of their like coffees are like music oriented.
Yeah.
Like the bass. fucking-
Rockin' Joe's.
Yeah.
What's your favorite coffee down here?
I mean, I like Market Street Grocery.
Yeah.
Any type of,
Of course, you like Market Street.
Yeah,
Grocery.
non-biased. I think I like Mark Street because like the beans and stuff that they get are really good. Not
Yeah.
that like Starbucks and Rock and Joe isn't. I just think that their consistency at Market is just
Yeah.
like unique. Well, I'm sorry, the consistency is on, and they have like a unique set of coffees that I don't find downtown.
Yeah.
I like any type of like Italian coffee, and Market seems to kind of follow that direction with their wines, a lot of their food, and their coffee. So like I just gravitate towards Market.
That makes sense.
If I'm like tired and I want to be like a fiend, I go to Starbucks.
Yeah, because it's like crack there.
It's literally like crack.
I don't understand it. But sometimes it's like every time I get something from Starbucks, it kind of has like a hint of burnt. But
Yeah.
I mean, like it's not bad though. It's like almost like a charcoal on like a grill or something.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and you have that and you taste it. But I swear, there's no coffee that like gets me going like that.
I think that Starbucks coffee is the hottest cup of coffee I've ever gotten. No matter where I go, like Starbucks to me is always the hottest. Like in a cup and like
You drink hot coffee a lot?
yeah. I mean, there'll be like June, July, like I'll be on iced coffees because it'll just be physically too hot outside.
Yeah.
But like nothing is to me than like a cappuccino or like a hot coffee in the morning.
Yeah.
And then I'll drink iced coffees during the day, and like when it gets back to night, I'll switch to like espresso or like hot coffee.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it just depends on A, the temperature, and B, like what I'm trying to get out of it. Is
Yeah.
it for taste while I'm editing pictures? Iced coffee. Do I need like a little caffeine in my life because I'm probably addicted to coffee?
Yeah.
I'll drink like a hot coffee.
Yeah, for sure.
So it depends.
It all depends for time with me. Like if it's before like 9:30, 10 o'clock, or if it's before breakfast, it'll always be a hot coffee.
Facts.
But other than that, I just rip through it. There's a fucking Dunkin' by my house, and it's so convenient because it's like I could throw a baseball at it.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I go there every morning. Literally every morning I go there.
Yeah.
And I get an iced Americano with 1 cream. And,
Hell yeah.
9 times out of 10, it's trash. It's just
Yeah.
like watered down trash, or it's either a cup of sugar milk with ice, or it's watered down trash. But that one time you get that fantastic one, it's better than any coffee ever.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's
You're-
fucked
you're
up.
gambling the start of your day.
Yeah,
It
you
can-
are, and it'll ruin your day.
Right? It's like to me, like I wake up and like I have coffee at my apartment.
Yeah.
And like even though like $2-3 a day does add up, but like
Fuck it.
nothing to me like going outside, grabbing a coffee, just sitting like
Yeah, it's
on
a
a
ritual.
patio. Yeah, it's just like it's a nice way to start the day, and I really appreciate the days that I do get to do that.
Yeah.
So
I don't hate making my own coffee at all, but like
No.
I love an iced coffee.
Yeah, same.
and you have to, I have to go somewhere unless I'm trying to make it the night before or whatever. But
yeah, and that's usually you're not whipping up cold brews and iced coffees at your home to prepare for the week.
To be fair,
Some
though,
people do though.
To be fair, though, a girl I had on here, Anna, she runs like some art shit, and she works with like Adam Milliron. He's a food guy, but I asked her what's in her cup, and she fucking wanted my coffee. And,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, because she bought it and she liked it, and her mom ended up having it, and her mom bought a bag off me and was like, "That's fire." So she was like, "Oh, I'd like your coffee," but I made it iced. So I made a double batch the night before and just left it in the pot.
Oh, yeah,
kind of
yeah.
like them bottles of the Starbucks black cold
Yep.
coffee, and it was so fucking good. And,
She's clever for asking for your own blend.
That's
too.
what I said. I was
Brownie
like,
points, that's
fake
good.
plug, that free plug in there. So before we get too big into it, I do an opening segment with everyone. It's called "What's in the Cup." What's in your cup? We've been talking about
Iced coffee, man.
Iced coffee.
I had to.
You had it last time too.
Oh, okay. I was trying to think of what I had.
Yeah, it was iced coffee for sure. But it was, again, you had your own iced coffee because like you were down here and you got it already.
And I think back then Market Street was doing like liters of pre-batch cold brew.
Yeah.
So like I always had them on deck in my fridge.
That makes sense.
But
then.
they switched up, so I was at Rockin' Joe's. Right
Rockin'
before you,
Joe's.
you know?
There you go. I found out the other day that people that drink a lot of coffee are prone to like heartburn, or like acid reflux because
believe that. Sure.
caffeine opens up your esophagus.
Really?
Yeah, my fucking my cousin-in-law is a pharmacist, and she was telling me that because like I've never had heartburn in my entire life, and I started getting it like a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. It's like I woke up out of a dead sleep, and I just fucking like it felt like I puked in my mouth.
Oh,
and
shit.
like it was just like heartburn, and I guess that's what heartburn is. And I was just like, you know, I texted her and I was like, is that a thing? And she's like, oh yeah, if you drink a lot of coffee, like that's something that like could happen. And I
I've
was
never
like,
had that happen to me. I feel like I've had heartburn at least like once.
Yeah, like you had to
in my
have it
life. You know
once.
what I mean? But like never where I've woken up.
I swear to God, I woke up out of a dead sleep, and it felt like that there was just acid sitting in the back of my throat.
Jeez.
And it was, I was like, damn. And I don't know. Maybe it was just something I ate, but I don't remember what I ate.
Hey, it could have been a mixture of a lot of stuff.
Could have been a mixture of a lot, but I'll never stop drinking coffee now.
Yeah.
I can't do it. But roasting this shit, dude, is definitely like obviously like you got your hand in everything in this city. Like get with it.
I know. I want to collab. Like Fresh Fest was so dope. Like I got to see all those like beer collabs, and I was like, wow,
Bro, I want to do a coffee one.
I know. I would love to just do.
There's so many. Let's team up and do this. I'm 100% serious because I don't fuck with beer, obviously.
Yep.
And like, it's not that I don't care what Fresh Fest is. It's just like, there's like, you know, me going there, like, I get it. There's culture around there and like you get to hang out and mingle with people, but like, I don't give a fuck about beer.
Yeah.
I could not care less. But
Yep.
if it was coffee, you know, we went to California and there's this brand called Violent Gentlemen, and they're ran by like ex-hockey player, like a bunch of people they're friends with, like hardcore bands. But we went there and they have these warehouse sales, and they made their own like nitro cold brew that was there, and like that shit makes me fucking tingle whenever I see like and you could try
Yeah.
different stuff. But it's like, fuck yeah, like let's do that.
Yep.
There's so many people around here that would do it. We could
Sure.
throw something crazy.
Yeah, dude. I think just collabing with
Different people.
collaboration is key for sure nowadays. And like when these breweries collab with all these creatives and like
Yeah.
even like wineries and like liquor companies, like I saw the Common Heart had a beer
Yeah.
too, I believe, that was separate from Fest Fest, but like those just like I don't know, it helps eliminate like this weird line between the consumer and like the business, and it kind of makes you feel more like a part of it. I don't know.
Absolutely.
It seems
You-
like they're willing to like all these guys like are willing to work with everyone, not just like
Yeah, not
bigger
huge
brands.
people that are like, you know, Permanis or like Parentals. That's what I
Yeah,
meant,
yeah.
Parentals. Like,
Oh, yeah.
because they did that burnt almond tort IPA.
Oh, I didn't see that. I'm allergic to almonds, so I probably just
You'll
overlooked
die
it.
probably,
I
but,
would have 2 hours.
That's a shame. Almonds, that's a bad thing to be
Never
allergic
had
to.
almonds, peanut butter.
Peanut butter.
Never. It smells, honestly, peanut butter smells terrible to me. I don't know
What?
how people.
You never had peanut butter and
Never
jelly?
in my life. I mean, never. I've had like soy peanut butter.
That ain't the same.
I don't remember it being the same. I used to be allergic to milk too. I was allergic to milk and all nuts.
You're like fucking bubble boy.
Oh yeah.
How do you even eat? You ever had Chinese food and shit when you were
Yeah,
younger?
it's just being very like cautious of like what to
is
order.
your shit roasted in peanut oil?
Yeah, well, peanut oil is cool. For some reason, I can eat stuff that's cooked in peanut oil because whatever I'm allergic to is cooked out. I believe the allergen is like eliminated after a certain temperature.
That's pretty wild.
I just made that up, but that's like what I've learned. You know what I mean? Like
That makes sense,
Yeah,
though.
anything deep fried. So I'm assuming that's a really high.
You could have not said you just made that up and it would have been 100%.
Well, I think so. I've been allergic to for 25 years now. I haven't been able to eat nuts, so I had to think about how this works in some way. But yeah, like almonds, peanuts, peanut butter, never. I mean, I've accidentally ate them a handful of times,
Yeah.
but not like peanut butter. Like I've never just had like a scoop of peanut butter.
Yeah, I could take it or leave it, but whatever.
Yeah.
But the whole shit with like collabing with beers and everything like that, I feel like I would like it more if I enjoyed the beer. Like if
for
I
sure.
enjoyed the product, I would like it more. But it's like a brand that I like, you know, clothing brand that I like collabing with like another clothing brand that I don't like. It's like I ain't really gonna. It's not that I'm gonna be a dickhead and just not wear it for that reason. It's just I don't like it.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know what I mean. But like if it's coffee, that's something that's like more like in my like lane. Like I would
Yeah,
fuck
for
with
sure.
all that. But
I mean, I've gone to wine tastings with people that don't
Yeah.
give a shit, and I'm like geeking. I'm like, yo, this is so great. Like,
you're
look
big
at-
into wine?
I really love red wines lately. I'm not like a sommelier out here, like gonna let
Yeah.
you know what type of grape. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't like blind taste wine.
Yeah, but
and
you
tell the
enjoy
region it
you
is.
enjoy it.
Yeah, like organic, like red wines, like wines that are essentially made with like no additives or anything at all,
Yeah.
and literally just taken, put in a bottle, and like they ferment in the bottle. You'll open up a bottle of red wine, it'll like fizz.
Yeah.
as if it's like a bottle of champagne. It's just like probably bacteria, but like good bacteria, and just like really weird concepts to make wine.
Yeah.
and like literally, like, I could put it in a cup and be like, hey, taste this organic cranberry juice from Whole Foods, and you'd be like, oh, bet, like, this is delicious.
Yeah, 100%.
But you would have no idea you just drank, like, red wine.
Yeah, see, like, I would definitely do that. It's just like, and it's not that I dislike the taste of the beer. I just don't want to be drunk.
Yeah, I feel you.
I hate it.
I mean, I have a party tonight, and it's a Wednesday, and
You got one at Spirit, right?
Goldmark.
Goldmark, that's it.
And the last thing I want to do tomorrow is wake up hungover. So I'm like, all day, I'm just like, should I just like drink a little bit of wine at my party? But it's like, why am I drinking wine out at this party?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But it's
have a
like,
cocktail.
Screw it, I'm drinking wine now. Yeah, I could drink wine and wake up the next day and feel like nothing happened. You know what I mean? It's like when.
See, that's opposite a lot of people. They just, a wine will just make them feel like you got hit by a truck.
True, yeah. Mad people say they get headaches. I honestly could drink like a whole bottle of red wine,
And be
maybe
fine.
even 2 on a Friday or Saturday night, and like I'll feel it. But like
Nothing crazy.
I'll wake up the next day, and as long as you drink water, like I don't have a problem with it. Like
Yeah.
champagne, different story. My head will hurt. But red wine, like I could drink that all day.
There you go.
And I don't know why that sounds terrible, but at the same time, like I don't know. You don't
Those
wake up. It's different.
These
You
are
wake up-
unexplained mysteries of life.
yeah, there's no sugar or anything, and it doesn't mess you up the next day.
What, in wine?
And a lot of red wines, like there's not like a ton of like sugars.
Oh, I guess,
versus
yeah,
like
it's
a
all
whiskey
natural.
Coke.
Oh,
You know
yeah,
what I
that's,
mean?
That's
like,
a good point. Yeah, like rum and Cokes and
so that's
stuff.
like that we get the hangover.
That's a good point. Well, now, so this is a perfect segue. So the reason I wanted to have you on is because CD10 was a very, very cool experience. That's the first one I ever been to.
Hell yeah.
And, you know, it's just like people drinking and shit like that on weekdays. I don't ever go out in the weekdays ever.
Yeah.
And I ended up just going there, and it was just such an awesome experience. And it was almost overwhelming for me, and I wasn't even involved with it. And to see, you know, like I kind of get like a little taste of just like, you know, organizing shit with this podcast, like trying to link up with people, trying to put shit together. And I just get a little taste of it, and it gives me crazy anxiety. And I couldn't even imagine how much anxiety and like preparation and all this shit has happened for Creatives Drinks 10. And I'm curious because like I had you on here before. I can't remember what episode it was, but listen back if you want. But give people like a rundown of what you're doing with all the CD shit.
Yeah, for sure. So Creatives Drink actually started as an event called Creatives Drink 2, as in like we drink as well, like TOO. Like it was the first event. Me and Chancellor Humphrey from Keep Pittsburgh Dope were working on it, and literally the goal was just to provide some sort of like meeting ground for everyone in the community to bump shoulders with each other.
Yeah.
There's so many creators in the city that know of each other from social media that never actually cross paths with them when they go out, because for as small of a city that we are, I only go to the same 3 places.
Yeah, exactly.
So those other people that go to those places, I'm never going to see them. And when you throw in like some free drinks, it kind of makes like that whole little like, wait, is that blah, blah, blah from this account? Even though as corny as that sounds, but like if you're a photographer looking to meet a couple like models for a specific project,
Yeah.
vice versa, if you're thrown in the same building, it just makes those connections so much easier, eliminates like the awkward DMs. Just
Add the social lubricant and
yeah,
like
yeah, exactly.
you're
And that was the
good.
reason why drinks were free to start. And it was also like, let's just hope that people come to these things. Cause
definitely
like,
a reason to bring like to go there. People will go there because of free shit.
and yeah, exactly. So it's like, all right, there's no reason not to go. Like if you're inspired, like
Yeah.
you're an aspiring artist, whatever it may be, creative in the city, and you want to just brush shoulders with anyone else in these industries.
Yeah.
Boom. Hopefully this is a resource that you can utilize. I never charge for my events because I don't want to add like an extra like barrier for someone to get in, because like getting there, paying for Ubers, a lot of people don't live downtown or within the city
Yeah.
where like in a
That's a good
5 mile
point.
radius where I do events. And then after you buy 2 drinks or 3 drinks, because some people just don't even like to go unless you have like a drink or 2 in you, because it is kind of overwhelming and awkward. You're already
Yeah.
at like a $40 night out, and that's not even like getting into certain events. So just trying to make that like the easiest way for people to get in the door and just be together was like the core reason of why we started doing it. And we did it at a venue called Howl at the Moon, which is like right around the corner of us right now downtown on 7th. And it had $1 drinks. And you got like 3 or 4 $1 drinks at our event. Maybe 30 people showed up. But that was it. And afterwards, like literally did not plan on touching it again, was going to just completely let it be. And it was maybe like a couple months later, I was like, me and Chance kind of looked at each other like, all right, maybe we should do this again.
Yeah.
And that's when we just hopped right into CD3. And like we were doing, where was CD3 at? The Vandal. The Vandal had no alcohol liquor license at the time. Or
Oh,
liquor
okay,
license.
yeah.
So there was no way to like do drinks, but we had this venue that they were willing to like donate to us for the time. And it was like, all right, cool. So obviously we need drinks. So I just started reaching out to everyone that I thought of. And
You were able to bring your own drinks there.
yeah.
Okay,
So just by using like offsite liquor permits and doing whatever was like the legal recommendation back then, it's slightly changed since, but like getting product donated and then we were giving away for free just because we knew like we had to have drinks at these events.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was kind of like all of these little like not mistakes, but just kind of random occurrences, kind of falling into our lap and being like, oh, cool. Like, wait, this could be the event right here.
Yeah.
And from there, we went to Constellation Coffee. Same thing, more local product for free. We filled up Constellation Coffee in like the first 15 minutes. The guy who lives above it hated the event. Was
Oh yeah, you told me about that.
like, and I was like, man, like I remember there was a picture of me and I'm just like with my jaw dropped and I'm just like looking at like how many people showed up because like we definitely had probably got to capacity.
Yeah.
We had like the girl who owned the coffee shop making drinks. I think like it was just like a lot of stuff and it was like, cool, hang on guys, like let's see how this goes.
Yeah, kind of just seeing how it is.
And from there it just became slowly just larger each time. Just trying to find bigger venues, different venues. We worked with a lot of museums, so that kind of like rang a bell too, like, okay, cool, like these venues can benefit from this. These local liquor brands can benefit from this.
In a different way too. It's
Yeah.
like, you know, like museums, you think of like young kids, like field trips and everything like that. You think of like older people maybe, but like if you have a mixer type event for these creatives, like that might bring people that have never had a reason to go there.
Yeah.
And it's a cool, like it's visual aesthetically and everything. It just looks dope.
Yeah, it does the decoration for you. So we didn't have to waste any money on
Yeah.
decorating spaces because you're in museums.
You had fucking priceless dinosaur bones and shit.
Literally. So like I'm trying to think, and also too as well, like when you go to a museum, like in high school, you usually kind of forget about it. And
Yeah,
never really,
that's what I mean. You don't care.
You really don't think you have to go back again because like, oh, I've already been to the Andy Warhol Museum, but you
Yeah.
don't realize it changes every 4 to 6 months. Like it's new, maybe even more or less. So
Yeah.
I really don't. I don't even know. And like to get people back in the door, and like those museums are looking for that. So like all of those things that kind of happened, all those points that happened over those past events kind of hit me in the face and was like, cool, like here's your business model.
Yeah.
So I just began to like kind of slightly curate that more and more and just trying to expand while also like grow. Well, I guess growing and expanding is the same thing, but since I'm talking around in circles here, taking all of those lessons I learned from the early events and putting them into a more curated version to execute on a bigger scale, less frequently, just due to the production that comes with it, and just at different venues and just keep it moving.
Yeah, instead of quantity over quality, it's quality over quantity.
For sure.
Yeah.
To a T. Literally, that was like half the battle. People were like, why don't you do 4 of those a year? And I was like, do you want me to not eat for 8 months of the year?
Yeah,
Because that's
for
what's
sure.
going to happen. Like, and
These first ones though, like how difficult are these first ones to make happen?
So really, like, so granted, like I'm doing creatives drink events while I'm still learning. Like I just introduced Block Party. I introduced my Kimpton collab.
Yeah.
Like I'm introducing these small parties on the side. They're pretty easy. It's like make sure you have the equipment needed for like the production side of it.
Yeah.
Coordinate with the DJ. Coordinate with the venue on making sure you have times and like those times work because some venues are obviously different. Like
Yeah.
hotel. The way that flow in hotels work is completely different than a flow at like a bar. So making sure you time these events accordingly, like just little things like that, you just learn as you go. And it's really not too complicated. Like it's harder to put the pieces together than to actually just show up and do it day of.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the creatives drink stuff, there's like a lot more pieces that kind of pop up. So that, and two as well, like I'm reaching out to brands to like partner with on these. Like they don't want to partner 8 times a year.
Yeah, for
Like,
sure.
They have budgets and they'll go through that budget for this year and they'll talk to me again next year. So when it comes to like scale, those like smaller events, like those are easy to put off because they're making drink money sales.
But
you know?
these bigger ones though, like you got to come correct and like they're blowing their load on one thing.
Yeah, and it takes months to like, not even months, but like it takes a month or 2 to like pitch the bigger brands and figure out a plan and like how it's going to benefit them. And then it's like those, for example, like Diageo is a liquor portfolio that I work with. They have certain brands that need activated at certain months in the year, like different quarters.
Oh yeah.
So if they're like, cool, like Captain Morgan and let's say Captain Morgan, like we need Captain events for the third quarter. I could be in Q1 talking to them, but like the money that I need for a specific event or whatever it may be with that collab is like I have to wait until Q3. But like another company may only want to collab in like Q2. So it's like these bigger projects, you got to kind of be ahead of the game. So when it all comes down to it, like everyone's on the same page and it's kind of all in the same like time frame. But versus the small parties, I can just hit the hotel up and be like, hey, like we're going to do these events. I'm going to do 8 of them this year. And they're like, cool. Like these dates work. These times work. I'll show up and do my part. You guys show up and do your part. We both make money. We both go home. I'll put the Facebook page up next week and we'll do it all over again.
That makes sense.
So like I've learned like learning that stuff over the years, and just like kind of having certain strategic partners for like Creatives Drink and some for the smaller events, and knowing like you never want to drain your well, you know? And like while you slowly want to dig it deeper so that it can fill up more and more each year.
Yeah, I like that.
If that makes sense. I was all over the place with that, but I think
that's
that makes
all right.
sense. Right?
Yeah, it definitely does. Now, I mean, like in the beginning, you're doing all this shit, so like. The first Creatives Drink is like, you know, obviously a smaller one. Would you say like your first big one was the museum?
The first big Creatives Drink was Ace Hotel. Okay. That was CD5. No, Mattress Factory was CD5. CD5 was pretty big. Like we hit capacity at the museum. We might did like 600 or 700 people. But I think the Ace Hotel event was the first one that we were like, cool. Like there's a lot of people here. Like we had a line that wrapped around like 2 sides of the hotel. Like
really,
it was like the first one where I was like, wow, like I could have got a bigger venue and we would have been good.
Yeah.
So like that was probably the first like wow moment. But the first like really big event that we did where we had 30 people working it. Like we actually had like a team. Like we're renting out the venue the night before, so like we had trucks pulling up unloading stuff with CD8 when we partnered with IDL. And at August Wilson Center, like they had cranes and like like I don't even know the terms of half the production stuff that they brought in, but like
there was next level.
Yeah, there was like we took it to the next level. Well, they did by designing backdrops and having like the stage and like doing lighting and like blacking out the venue the night before. So like they had a semi truck pull up and we had like cranes and shit. Like that was the first one where like I walked in and like I went to the venue to go set up and like for hours there'd already been a whole crew of people working there and there's cranes beeping and all that. And like that was like that cool like haha like this is dope.
Like this happening.
Yeah, and like CD9 was the same and with CD10. So like getting to that point, like,
like CD10 was like. Now I've never been to any other one, so like you added a different aspect. Like there's musical performances, there was artists there was drinks.
Yeah,
I mean like there's always drinks, but like this one had a bunch of different drinks from different places around the city.
Yep. So yeah, like really like Creatives Drink, like the early Creatives Drinks, like the really early ones, like the first, like say like part 1 of Creatives Drink was like me asking brands full pint, you know what I mean, like Wiggle whiskey for a donated product. They give me cases. I hire a bartender. I let her handle that. You go to one bar
in return for what though? Just like promoting their product?
Yeah, like digital exposure, on-premise activations, like actually having their product on, like that term like on-premise is like really important to like liquor brands, and like for local brands like digital stuff is really important too as well. Just being tagged, having your logo on flyer.
Yins need to link. You need to. I say Yins. You need to link up with. You know what Spittin' Chicklets is?
I don't think so. No.
It's a podcast that's under the Barstool logo.
Oh,
but
dope.
It's Ryan Whitney, who was a Penguin at one point. He created a pink lemonade vodka called Pink Whitney's, and it's New Amsterdam, and like. It's just a try. You know, awesome. I saw your tweet the other day. You were like, I just try to collab with anyone now. And like, who gives a fuck? Like, worst they could say is no.
Yeah, just ask.
Yeah, it's like they just came out with all this shit. It's like I could see someone like that doing it.
I was trying to collab. Like, even I did an art gallery. Like, it might have been my second one after the Social Status one. I tried to partner with the Wiggle, like on a custom bottle design.
Yeah.
Like, I was always like trying to just do stuff like that because it's different. And like,
it's different.
It's almost like a validation to like the people showing up. Like, oh, cool. Like this. Like, even though like which I still am, and back then too, as well as like, yo, like as a nobody, like just trying to throw parties, it's like, why the hell should I waste my time going to your event, your gallery, your show, anything that you do? So it's like,
it's just the same shit over and over.
Yeah, so
That's
it's
why you gotta
like,
be
how
different.
can I collab with bigger brands too, to show that they care and they see what we're doing? So it's like, cool, like maybe as you come as a consumer, you're like, oh, cool, well, like if they partner with this brand, at least like this brand cares. Like maybe this is a bigger deal than I thought, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like validation almost, like subconsciously.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like always trying to do it, but never really had like a successful like collab yet. So that is definitely something to do when it comes like a consumable product.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Now, I mean, like in the beginning, you're doing all this shit. Like I mean, with CD10, like how on a scale of 1 to 10, how do I even want to phrase it? How much work was that?
Honestly, I had felt like I've never thrown an event before while doing CD10.
Now, why did you feel like that if you're doing all this shit?
No idea, because I look back at it now and I'm just like, why did I freak out? Why did I lose this much sleep over this? Why was I like doing it? It was just because like I was in like for me, I was at a new tier of event like scale, just from like the venue.
Even before that St. Augustine, would you say that one was like, you know, more of a production, like, you know, with all the setup?
I mean, I that was like something that the company managed.
That's
like,
what I mean, though. But was that a bigger production as far as like, you know, stages and like actual like build outs of shit?
So like the venue was like a classic venue I was used to. So like that didn't really intimidate me by any means.
Yeah.
But like the production, like the inside stuff that we brought,
Yeah.
like was intimidating. I was like, wow, like this is dope. Like I've never
okay.
had to rent cranes before. For an
Oh
event.
yeah, that's what
You
I
know?
mean. Yeah.
So
yeah.
like, but that stuff, like I'm not renting that crane. Like the company's renting it, and like they're just sending me like. So that company gets hired to do these things. So like as a customer, which I would like. I guess you
basically
consider
being
me
a
the
general
customer.
contractor.
Yeah, like they're sending me pictures that look really nice, and they're gonna do this, this, and this, and it'll be set up by this time. And I'm just like, they're like green or red. Like, are you good to go, or do you want us to do differently? And I'm like, yeah, this is great. Go ahead and do it.
I know.
And then I walk in at like 2:00, and they've been there since 8 a.m. All I had to do was just make sure that the doors are open for them. Like it was
Yeah.
just an email for me, but they showed up with their crew and they started setting up. So like for that, it wasn't complicated at all. Like
You didn't have to do too much legwork.
didn't have to do much legwork at all. I just had to have the right.
Put the pieces in the right
Yeah,
spots.
just have the right pieces together and have like the right like strategic partners in play, which I had been working on for months leading up to it anyways.
Yeah.
And I was good to go. CD10 was the same production, but like only me and like my buddy Derek and like my buddy Max, like no one else was there during the day. And like I had people from Stage A that like I had hired to like set up tables and do like the little legwork and stuff. But
Yeah.
like when it came to the actual setup and production, I literally was just me and then my buddy Derek and Max. And like of course like Nick and like the other partners in the event helped, but they did their part. Like I still had the majority of the event. And like, honestly, day of, the worst part about it was just having my phone vibrate every 30 seconds.
I bet. Every time. You're probably like, what the fuck's going wrong?
And next time I know, like, I will just have a point of contact that handles those specifically, because it wouldn't have been that big of a deal if I just would have managed my time correctly or known going into it, like, what was going to pop up. Of course, everyone and their mom is going to try and sneak in backstage an hour before the event and into it.
A lot of people tried that?
I mean, it's just like, I didn't know that there was like a production lot.
Yeah.
So like I have this event, there's a lot of partners in it. So like there's only so many parking spots at Stage 8.
Yeah, I was there whenever people were trying to, I believe it was My Favorite Color was trying to get in there.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I saw you at first.
Yes, that was the first time I saw you. And
Yeah.
then I have 14 artists that are trying to get in. And like, I'm also relying on like other, like SongLink is like, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of other people that like are handling other things too as well. But
Yeah.
like when it gets down to like the nitty gritty 2 minutes into it, everyone's just hitting up everyone.
Yeah.
So like if I would have been able to turn my phone off that day without like knowing that I wouldn't miss anything or like need to take it, I would have been great. It would have been an easy day. But just
Probably felt like you were treading water with getting all them
Exactly.
vibrates and stuff.
yeah, it was just overwhelming, just like setting up little things. And like it's funny because I guarantee you I look at this like conversation like in a year from now and be like, like I can't believe I was stressing over that back then.
Yeah,
like it
right.
really wasn't that difficult. But
It's new though.
yeah, it's new. It was exactly like it was new. Like I had never even made a production lot list. I've never made an all access. I mean, I've made all access lists for like events and stuff, but
Yeah.
like Nothing that like I have to coordinate with like a security team that's like 15 people.
Yeah.
And then like during the event,
Now,
we realized that.
Can I pin this up? Now,
Yeah.
this, I don't know if we said this, but this was at Stage AE.
Correct. Yeah.
Now,
Sorry.
that's all right. I don't want to forget to talk about that. Now, how difficult was it to get that event? Because get that venue, because if you didn't have it, you don't have an event.
Well, so getting the venue was actually super easy, and
okay.
honestly, all it was like, hey, if you want to rent it, if you want to rent Stage AE, boom, like here's the numbers.
Can I ask you how much it is?
Yeah, it's public knowledge, like $8,500 to rent the inside of Stage AE
For how long?
for the day. You
Okay.
have like up to 12 or 14 hours, I believe.
Okay.
It comes with staff. It comes with your lighting.
Oh, it does come with staff
It comes
and all
with
that?
lighting people. It
That's
comes
what I
with
was
stage,
curious
yeah.
about, because like you see this whole production, and I didn't know, like, if you want tables, if you want to use the fucking place upstairs.
Oh
and
yeah,
shit.
all that's.
Okay.
So like, and all it is like a couple meetings and walkthroughs with the director over there,
Yeah.
like working with her on making sure like, cool, this is how I want it to go, and if they can do it, and if not, like how can we merge these two together?
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I think if you email them right now, it's like, how much is the rent Stage E? They would hit you with the same number, So like when it came to getting it, it wasn't hard. Like granted, yes, they're super booked, but like
How long ahead of time did you have that?
I had Stage AE locked in for 4 months, I
Oh,
believe.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had it for like 4 or 5 months. And when I got the date, I kind of sat on it for like a week or two, and then that's when I started getting the conversation started with like my bigger partners. And from there, like everyone's like, cool, we got 3 months out. Like it gave me perfect timing to plan. But like on the back end, like no one knew that we were doing it. I was still like teasing it and like trying to be clever on Twitter and like
Yeah.
get people's attention.
Because you originally said that you wanted CD10 to be at Stage AE.
Yeah, I'm not making that up. Like
When do you say that? How far?
honestly, me and you're sitting right now. Me and Chance were probably hanging out. Like this was CD3, 4.
Yeah.
Like it was the same time we were conversating about like, hold up, we could do 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. And we can do it this place and this place. And then I was like, dude, one day like Stage AE, bro, because I remember like in high school going to like a Mac Miller show and like in college seeing like Wiz there
Yeah.
and like seeing them pack it out, and like I'm not musically talented at all, but like everyone wants to like
It's a
sell out
dope
a
venue, there.
stage,
dude.
you know what I
It
mean?
is such a dope venue. I just went to go see Jack White there in the Raconteurs yesterday,
Yep.
and like it's just such a nice venue. The whole layout of it, and that was like the first new venue that Pittsburgh like had. That was like, so I mean, like that's where all the hot shit was. Like, they were picking up all the good acts.
Yeah, and like growing up, I mean, I'm still growing up, but like just going to shows and stuff, it's like, oh, bet like they're at Stage AE, like that's dope. And now
Yeah.
it's like, oh, you're at PPG and they're at Heinz Field, that's insane. But
Yeah.
like that same thing, like seeing Wiz or Mac, for example, going from like Stage AE to like going to bigger venues,
Oh,
it's like,
yeah.
that's dope. Like I remember being in high school and like seeing him there, and like just like deep down, it was always like, yo, like I would love to fill a stage one day. Like that would be sick.
Yeah, not being someone who does music either. Like,
Yeah.
how can you do that without doing music? And if you don't do music, you find your way how to do it.
Yeah, so just work with other musicians.
Yeah,
what I mean?
right?
Like,
You know?
sure. and that kind of was like, if it wasn't for like the local artist showcase, I don't think that CD10 would have been like
What it
think,
was.
Yeah, I think that was like the element of the event that really like.
100%. I mean, it was
Kinda
it was
hit it
100% free show for anyone that came.
Yeah, no one had to waste $1 unless you wanted to buy drinks after the free ones went out.
Yeah, so like, I mean, we had it Stage AE. I got down there. I walk in, and my first thing that I saw was Six Cycle.
Yeah.
And then I saw on the bottom end, I saw all them different stations. Like, what were all them stations?
Yeah. So, like I said before, like we take these, we were really working with local brands.
Yeah.
And as Creative Gen kind of grew, I started taking these local brands and linking them. Instead of me hiring one bartender, I needed more bars.
Yeah.
So I would hire other bartenders. Just kind of made sense. If that bartender is going to show up, they might as well represent their bar or restaurant that they work for and be like, hey, show up. Like, you guys can bring your drinks.
Like
So-
the one you had, the commoner.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah,
So
yeah.
as CD10 kind of
That's a
came
cool
about-
idea.
Thanks. So it's like a taste of
Thanks.
It's like a taste of Pittsburgh, but like it's free. There's samples. So like I guess more of my story is like when Creative Drinks started, we had $1 drinks. Then it moved to like free drinks at one location, to then growing into like multiple bars that are each different restaurants. Those bars could just show up and bring whatever drinks they wanted.
Yeah.
So if they have like an extra case of like Captain in their bar and they want to get rid of it, boom, they can use it. It's just an easier way to influence like restaurants and bars to like be a part of my event. Cause like we're asking them, like, it's kind of like a pay to play situation for them, and they also have to like staff the table, bring their product, and man it for those hours. Like it's a project.
Yeah, for sure.
So when you ask them just to do that, and like they don't get to make an actual like profit, like you don't make a physical profit that day off of it unless they figure out something I haven't.
Yeah, they're playing the long game though, as far as
exactly.
exposure and
it's
everything.
a marketing tool.
Yeah.
So for CD10, I had worked with Diageo, which is the liquor portfolio I mentioned before.
Yeah.
And like they really wanted to work with Don Julio, Captain Morgan, Kettle, Bullet, and what's the one with the green bag? Crown Royal Apple and Captain Morgan.
Yeah.
So those were the brands that they hired me to represent for, I believe it was like Q3, they considered it. So like I had to take their goals and kind of fit them into the CD10 and kind of like see what would work. So this CD10 was for Creators Drink. It was different this time. And for CD10, like I reached out to all these restaurants and was like, hey, I have these brands of liquor left. Pick it. And like there's only 2 Bullet tables. So if you want Bullet, make sure you say yes before this other place comes in and picks up Bullet.
Yeah, like hurry up before it gets taken.
Yeah. And it was like cool. And also too as well was like, so, for example, Bloom Honey Water partnered with Don Julio.
Yeah, what is that? Bloom Honey Water?
Yeah,
I
so
think I had that one.
Bloom Honey Water, from my understanding, is literally just like like an aromatic flavored water that you can buy. And it is like a Pittsburgh local brand.
They are local?
Yeah, it's from Pittsburgh.
Okay.
It is my buddy Will's mom who runs it, and from my understanding, like they're Pittsburgh locals, and like they're in Giant Eagle now. Like they're huge. Like it's just a brand that's really grown. But like they had to partner with Don Julio, and then like we threw a twist on it, like almost like you know, like on cooking shows, how you open the basket and you have like these items,
a chocolate and a fish.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we threw in Red Bull, and like we had flavors of Red Bull because like Red Bull wanted to be a part of it, and like they needed to be at every single drink. And every single drink had a Red Bull, some sort of Red Bull twist on it.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah. So each table, so like as a brand, like they got to pick their liquor, and then they got to pick a flavor of Red Bull, and from there they had to make that example. There was, each table did 2 drinks, where most of them did 2 drinks.
Yeah.
So one of them didn't have to have Red Bull.
How many tables?
There was 6.
And who were they?
We had Kimpton, Hotel Monaco, I had Santa Mercado, I had Talia, I had Velazzi's, I had Bloom Honey Water, and then we had Six Cycle too as well.
Okay.
Hopefully I'm not forgetting anyone. There's only 6.
Yeah.
So, and
I
then so it was kind of like a cool little like open
What was
the
your
basket.
favorite?
Honestly, I didn't get to have that every single one of them. I had Kimpton's once, and that was actually it. I only got to drink 1 cocktail from the whole event because
I mean, from my point of view, I saw you toting a walkie-talkie first thing, trying to put out a fire out back.
Yep.
And then I see you pop up every like probably hour. You just pop up and go, "Is this sick?" And just you're gone a second. And then I just see you like on stage the whole time. But so I can understand you not getting to enjoy the.
We had drinks in the back, so like I got to drink those, but like unfortunately I didn't get to enjoy
the mixed drinks and everything.
Yeah, I didn't get to enjoy the event. I woke up and went to go set up, and then at 5:58 they asked me if I wanted to do doors, and I looked down and I realized I'm still wearing running shoes, basketball shorts, and like a t-shirt that I'd almost not sweated through, like to be gross, but like I've been running around all day. Like I definitely broke a sweat. I didn't even eat that day. I had a coffee. And my friend Laura, who was helping us set up, she brought Taco Bell and just like left it on the table. And I had 1 soft taco, and I sat Indian style. I remember I sat Indian style in the middle of stage AE, just by myself, just no one else is there. Just eating this taco with my laptop, answering emails. And I'm like, what the fuck did I get myself into? I'm literally just in stage AE. There's like a bar back, like getting ice and shit for the night. And I'm just like, all the lights are off except for on the stage. And like, I'm just surrounded by my letters and the DJ booth.
Yeah,
and
that was such a good, honestly, that was one of the best things you could have ever done because it took up so much of that empty negative space on the stage. It made it look so much more different because like people usually will have like a band like and the fucking amps and everything, but if you just had regular people up there with Pete up there just DJing, it would have looked weird.
Agreed. Shout out Josh Snyder from Flower City Printmakers.
Yeah, Flower City Printmakers.
He came through and helped me with that stage design.
Dude, he's the one who printed my fucking coffee labels at the drop of a hat the last second.
Kills it.
Yeah, I couldn't be more thankful for him. I hit him up last minute because I was so worried about the coffee, like waiting for like a week and a half, 2 weeks. I wanted it to be as fresh as it could.
Yeah.
And I hit him up and he was like, dude, I got it for you. No problem.
Next day.
Yeah, next day. And
Dude,
it was so dope too.
I called him and I was like, yo, It's like a week out. Sorry. It's a week out. I'm like, yo, I need 2,000 square punch cards. I need this many posters, 3 different sizes, and I need you to help me make a stage design. And he was like, okay. Like, he wasn't even concerned. He's like, cool.
He don't give a fuck. He's ready to work.
He was like, what do you want? And I was like, I have no idea. I was like, I know that if I bluff this stage design, like, it's a huge element of the event, and I need to, like, figure it out. All I know is I want to do letters on the stage. That's the only thing I could think of.
It was such a good idea because, you know, I was sitting up top for a while, just like I watched all the performances from up top.
Nice.
And it made the stage, I don't know, it was more welcoming to like see it. And like, you know, I feel like if you wouldn't have had letters there, it would have looked like super.
Oh, yeah, for
it would have looked like it would have looked like a fucking concert that no one was there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
agreed.
It looked dope.
I was glad because, like, we were going to do the letters half the size, and Josh was like, dude, I think Josh mentioned that he could do them like 4 feet tall. And I was like, that's fucking sick. That's like the size of like a child. Like, that's so tall. Like, I was like, cool, the DJ booth has to be at least 4 feet. Like, this will really bring the stage together.
Yeah.
And I like pulled the specs of stage A, and I was like, yo, the stage, I think it was, I don't know how many feet it was wide, but I gave him that number, and I was like, whatever we can do to just maximize this. And at first, like, I was going to project it on the back of like that curtain. We were going to do a projection. And I was like, man, like, I knew
The physical aspect was so sick.
You're like, I just knew I needed something. And like, since we weren't working with IDL for this year, I was like, all right, well, I don't have thousands of dollars to spend on this stage. Like, if I'm lucky, I could, you know what I mean, pull out a couple $100 to make this.
Yeah.
And then that's when Josh like came through and was like, dude, I got you. And really like helped me with everything. And he was even there like before the event because he set the table upstairs. He's like, what can I do? I remember he grabbed me by the shoulders. He's like, what can I help you with? And I was like, bro, I don't even know how to help myself right now. I was like, I love you though. Thank you. And I just like walked away.
Yeah, I mean, it was dope for sure. And yeah, he's a good dude. Definitely made some shit happen. I mean, now you had these like booths on the bottom down there, and then you had a collab with Shop 412.
Correct.
Now, how does that come to be? Because I know you're good friends with them dudes, and you threw a party there the night before, and you know they're pretty big in the city. Like, how does that come to play?
Yeah, honestly, like Christian and Aaron, they're awesome. Like, I have no idea why they wanted to help besides the core idea of just wanting to help out.
Yeah.
I don't even know how the conversation started. I just believe that I know that I met with them one day and they're like, yo, we want to help. And they're like, what can we do to help? And like, I had a few little things like on the back end that we were like, I was looking to get done.
Yeah.
And they're like, cool, we got you. And then I was like, you know, like, I'm not going to lie, like, in 11th grade, I took their logo and redesigned it for like my design class.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a senior in high school.
I think we talked about that on the last one.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm not going to lie. Like,
didn't you do the lighter?
I did. So I didn't design the lighter. I just designed the promotional like marketing stuff leading up to it.
Yeah, you designed that collab with it.
Yeah. Well, they designed the collab. I just did
the fucking posts and all that shit.
Yeah,
whatever you call it.
No, I just didn't want no one to take any words.
Yo,
the
he did not design Zippos. Zippos are made in Bradford, PA.
Exactly.
All right, they're made in Bradford, PA. He didn't make the design, but he made the flyer to put the design on there.
People get mad, man. You never know.
I get it. No. I completely understand.
But yeah, so I did there was a like fire element that kind of ripped open and it kind of revealed it, and I pretty much like helped them with promotional marketing campaigning leading up to it.
That's pretty
like,
dope.
In-house like graphics on their screens, if they even utilize that for that. But yeah, I got to do that with them. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm getting side. The shirt, I just asked, and I was like, dude, I know everyone that collabs with you does a shirt. I don't want to be like everyone else. Like, how can I do this differently?
Yeah.
And that was when we came up with like the actual like event presence, but we didn't really know what to do at the event. They just knew they wanted to be there, and that was kind of how the t-shirt came about. And they just sent me the design one day, and they're like, what do you think? And I was like, yo, I had like a couple small tweaks, and I was like, I don't even care what this looks like all I want is just, I'm just so happy that like we can do this.
Yeah,
you know
for sure.
I don't care what the design on the back is or what the front looks like.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just really grateful that we can even do this.
Yeah, they look sick though.
Thank you.
What now? That picture on the back of it?
Yeah.
What is the story behind it?
So prohibition, like marketing.
Yeah.
Not like the meaning of prohibition, like none of that. Just like the actual like the marketing image, like content that liquor brands like printed out back then, like in the 20s and 30s, to me is like so dope. Like I love like vintage advertisements, even like in any realm of business, like just vintage advertising back then to me is really cool.
Ain't it dope to think about that? Like nowadays we see shit and it's all so saturated and something was taken from somewhere else.
Yeah.
But you look at all these old school, like for instance, like the male pouch tobacco. It's like I love whenever you see them old signs like on them old barns and shit like that. It's like these people did all this shit like whenever there wasn't a saturation of more creative people in the world.
For sure.
It's fucking dope to think about.
And like I just love like old school marketing like that. Like and Prohibition has like really cool like propaganda, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And to me, like my events are free drinks. So like when you think of Prohibition, it's like they hate no alcohol. So like when you take the propaganda, there's one I remember. It says lips that touch liquor shall never touch mine. And it was like what women did.
That's pretty dope.
And it was like women, they would like preach that on signs at protests and everything to like convince men not to drink, being like, oh, if I drink, like women aren't gonna like me. I'm assuming that's what I got from it at least. But like to me, I'm like, yo, wait, that's actually ill. Like
that's super dope.
I just give away all this booze for free. Like I'm giving away like
you're flipping it.
Yeah, I'm giving away barrels of booze away for free. So this image was like, and there was just an image that we discovered from Pittsburgh Prohibition of just like a bar that had been raided and they're just dumping barrels of booze in the dumpsters. So in like, or in the drains.
Yeah.
So like it's kind of just like a weird, I'm not sure the term.
Yeah, but I get it. You're playing off of it, but that's super wild.
It's like we take all this booze and we're just pouring it down the drain, aka like the people's, you know what I mean, the creators of Pittsburgh.
Did you know that
garbage, but you get it.
Elvis's manager one time made these buttons that said like I hate Elvis or Elvis sucks.
That's dope.
And I mean they were selling it because Elvis was making money off of these people that disliked him. They did that for a reason. And you're just like, fuck, like that's crazy. And back then it's like you don't have social media, you don't have all this shit. There was just some dude that was like, you know, let's be like, you know, that was like the first dude who probably, not the first dude, but he was probably one of the first dudes that like had crazy ideas like that to like
just
flip
think
it
outside the box and be clever.
Yeah, exactly.
What marketing really is.
Now, where does this whole six cycle come into play? Because like I know you take photos for them, and I know that they were there, and they were literally like, doing a cycle spin class there. I saw, you know, girls are just jumping up and down, dudes are just jumping around on these bikes and shit.
So Six Cycle, like Jess has always like helped us with events. Like she does like event production on the end as well, like a lot more like weddings, you know what I mean, like more like fancy stuff. Like she does a lot of flowers, all the cute shit. So like I've always worked with Jess on multiple events. So like when it comes down to me doing an event, like I just reach out to the people I always work with, and like Jess is one of those people. And I also work with them like on their marketing, on the content creation for their social media. So it's kind of my job to introduce them to new concepts to help them market anyways.
Piggybacking with it.
So when it's my event,
that's a good idea.
Yeah. So when it's my event, like, and they could benefit from it too as well. It's like two birds, one stone.
Yeah. Why not do it?
Everyone you saw at Stage AE, almost every single person there was a client of mine that I work with like on a monthly basis in the city anyways. It's just, for CD10, we couldn't work with as many brands as, like for CD9, we had 13 tables, 14 tables show up and give out free booze. At this one, you only have 6.
Yeah.
So you may look at it and be like, wait, why is there half the amount of free booze? But when it came down to actually doing it, and like it was just something I never knew of, like I had to work with Airmark on this one, and like I had to, so like usually when you work with a liquor company, they just give you the booze, or they can buy it and ship it to the venue.
Yeah.
No problems, no questions asked. Stage AE, different case. You have to order everything through Stage AE. Stage AE is not just going to order 20 cases of booze and just tell you, hey, we went to the liquor store, it was $3,000. Here, you know what I mean? It's like, cool, we bought all this booze, it was X. Here's your tax, here's your admin fee. Like, here's this, and this. And then it's like, boom. And I had no idea that was going to happen. So whenever I reached out to these companies to begin with and was like, hey, like we need this many resources, bottles, all this, they were like, cool, got it. And then
how did you figure out how much you needed of what?
Well, so it was originally like, hey, this is ideal. Like everyone can show up and consume like 6 to 7 samples, because like I was just doing it based on time and like what the actual like legal sampling rate is. Like there's certain guidelines to how much you can give away for free as a sample. And like LCB trained bartenders and people that work in the industry are geared to only give a certain amount of drinks per hour.
Yeah.
Not that everyone follows that, and you could go out tonight and order 5 drinks in 1 hour. The bartender's not going to say anything.
For sure.
But like, there's guidelines that you're supposed to follow. So when you're working with big companies like that, it's kind of like, all right, cool. Well, like, let's assume that like everyone gets like 3 drinks per hour, and we have 1,500 people show up.
How many people was the total?
We did 13 something or like 12, high 12.
1,200 people?
Yeah, so I've been telling people like 1,250, but like it was somewhere like above like 12,
Holy
really low
shit.
13s. So like...
And where'd you get that number to know?
Stage AE.
No, I mean, like, where did you get it to, like, even anticipate
that out?
how many people you're going to get there?
Well, we have, I mean, I've kept track of every event.
Yeah.
Some have been ballparked slightly, but, like, we've continued to grow at, like, a couple hundred per event. In the past 3, due to venue size as well, like, we hit capacity on August. Bay 41 didn't really have a capacity, but, like, we kept track of that. Like, I knew that we'd been doing 9 to 1,200 people per event. So, worst case scenario, or, like, I guess there's 3 scenarios. Worst case is I was like, we have to do at least 750.
Yeah.
There's no way that we don't do under 750. Most likely we'll do 1,000 to 12. Best case scenario, we do 2,000. Some people were trying to gas me up and be like, bro, you're selling it out. You're doing these
What's cap?
Cap was 23.
The inside is 23.
Yeah.
Would you know what the outside is?
Oh, probably a lot. Probably 8, 10.
Dude, the fucking Jack White show last night. I ended up winning a early entry, and we got front row.
Wow.
Dude, but I didn't turn around for hours, and then I turned around, and I couldn't even imagine how many people were there.
Yeah, like they asked, like, do you want to do outside? And I was like,
that's too risky here.
Yeah, I was like,
I know, you get rained on every time.
I'm like, my luck with weather is terrible. Like, I'm getting rained on no matter what.
How many times have you had a block party that it didn't rain?
Dude, already 3 or 4 times this year.
That didn't rain.
Didn't rain.
Yeah.
Oh, the one that I didn't do. We did a block party the same time as CD10.
Yeah.
Like, I had a block party the same night. And
did you?
Yeah, we still did it. Like, I just wasn't there.
Yeah.
And beautiful. Not a single raindrop that whole day. I don't think I had one, dude. I don't think I've gone one so far this year that hasn't at least sprinkled.
You always post it on your Snapchat like, typical. This is rain clouds.
Not a surprise.
Dude, it was pouring yesterday on my way to the concert, and as soon as I got to my house and got in an Uber, it just stopped raining. It turned out to be beautiful.
It doesn't make sense, man.
Yeah,
Literally, I'll look at it
sense.
and I'll be like 0% chance. And then I'll be like,
it could start snowing.
Dude, yeah. I'll tweet and be like, yo, haha, dodge the bullet. Like, tweeting at Scott Disick. Not Scott Disick.
Yeah,
that's a celebrity. Scott Harbaugh, whatever, the weatherman. I'm like, fuck you, Scott. Like, we made it. And then an hour later, it'll be pouring. It'll be like 90% chance. I remember it. I literally
Send you the purple face devil emoji.
It's such like a perfect like marketing like scheme for me because I'm like, like fuck the haters. Even though like no one's hating on the event, it's just like Mother Nature's like hating
you're just
on
playing
me.
with it.
And I'm like, like not a raindrop tonight, guys. Like I can't wait to see everyone. And then it's like, nope. It's like 90% chance it's 6. And I'm like, bro, like this is a joke.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
But that's
Anyway.
Pittsburgh weather in the middle of summer for you.
Yeah, what can you do?
Nothing.
But so before I interrupted you though,
No, you're good.
It's we were talking about Six Cycle and all these other places that were up there. Now I also walked upstairs and I saw your boy Appalachia.
Yeah.
And Appalachia Blues.
Yeah, Appalachia, I guess.
Appalachia Blues.
Term. Yeah,
whatever. I don't know how to say it, but
that's cool.
this dude was straight up had the most ill hats I've ever seen ever,
Bro,
and
Tyler's
he
funny.
is just an ill dude, like just rocking them fucking hats. And I was like, damn, like this is crazy. And then was it Hounds that had a booth next to them?
Yeah, Hounds partnered with Songlink, and they tried to do like a nostalgic, like 90s baby kind of like bedroom.
Yeah, it was
like,
dope.
recreation, like the posters to the music. And they did like CDs with like music from like a lot of artists that we didn't get to feature in the show was also put on the CD. And they had all these CDs they gave out.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, they might. I don't know how many they did.
That's
that
dope,
was
though.
Part of the day where I was like,
It's just dope because like you had different aspects that incorporated like all different interests. It's like you had the art over there, you had the printers, you had the Allison with the
with her sex tech.
Yeah, the sex tech booth, and then Hounds the hat, and then you had all the alcohol. Now the only aspect we didn't talk about yet is like the performances and the artists there. So how many total people did you have?
I believe we had 14.
Now you had 10,000 comments on
13.
12,885,
I think.
I'm sorry, I ain't taking nothing away with that.
I looked a couple days ago just to see. I think it was like 12,885.
Now you posted that, and realistically, how much did you anticipate?
Dude, that was the spiral downhill of the anxiety train.
Oh my
Crushed
God.
me. So
When you posted that, I was like, I wonder how. I knew people were going to be tagging people, obviously. I was like, oh, definitely, fucking,
dude, I was hoping for
500.
80 comments.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But
Well, you know what's funny?
Crazy.
So whenever we're a month out, I have my partners, I have the activations of what everyone's doing at the event, and
You knew you were going to have music there?
Yeah. The whole goal of partnering with SongLink with Nick Merch was to partner.
Oh, that's who he is, Nick Merritt.
Yes.
He just followed me. I didn't know who he was.
Yeah, he'll be in town next week. We should hit him up.
Okay.
So yeah, the whole goal was to partner with SongLink and to just showcase all of the music that we have in Pittsburgh to the best of our abilities. I listen to a lot of local music. I'm surrounded by it. I'm in this community. I see it. But obviously there's hundreds of people in the city that probably perform and make music. So
absolutely.
We have a core set of a handful of people that we know we definitely want to be on it. And we're all right, well we don't want to be biased. We don't want to hit up everyone that's just our friends. How can we figure out new artists? And how can I just someone else just fall on my lap essentially? Not to be lazy, but we're yo, let's see let's
for
see
sure.
who we've discovered. So that whole leave a comment below, I knew it was there was a time slot for Monday at 8 p.m. I knew I had to get a post out and introduce one of the partners, and I was gonna introduce Shot 4 and 2, but the Shot 4 and 2 collab wasn't ready. I didn't have all my assets, so I was dude, Nick, let's drop yours right now. I don't know how we're gonna do this, but I kind of pulled that yo, leave a comment below with just to try and get some interaction,
some buzz on that. Yeah.
What that's it. The Creatives Drink page has half the following, almost a third of the following that I have. So we get a little bit less. It's nothing overwhelming. We hit the 100 likes, and I was all right, bet. That's when you know it's a good idea. At least whenever it was CD and create on my Bakery page, it's cool. Once I hit that 100 in a certain time frame, I'm all right, bet. This people are reading this. This is hitting. And then I think we hit 80 or so comments, and it might have been 8 or 9 o'clock. And then I called Nick, and I'm this is dope. We got so many comments.
Yeah.
And then it's an hour later, and I think we might have hit 100 or 200, 300 comments. And I'm whoa, yo, this is crazy. And I'm I'm just geeked. I'm just ecstatic.
Absolutely.
I'm well, this is really working.
Because you don't even expect it to happen. That fucking Turner's Tea giveaway, dude, there was fucking 600 comments, and that's way more than I've ever had on anything. But it's for a fucking t-shirt.
And you're just seeing how just how social media works. It's that's what I do for a living is I try and come up with those type of ideas to give other companies, and it's ooh, I never thought of something for myself that worked like this.
Absolutely.
So I remember I called Nick again, and it was 11, and we might have broke I think we might have broke 500, and I talked to him. I get off the phone, and I fell asleep on my couch because I was just on my laptop just grinding on stuff because I'm so amped. I wake up at 4 a.m, and I literally opened up Instagram, and it was yo, I might have had 80 likes, but it was 1,000 something unread comments, and I was whoa. I was what? I've never opened my phone once and seen that.
It was crazy
Kim
that.
K shit. Every time she probably opens her phone, probably has thousands of each, and I'm whoa. And my first thing is yo, nothing good gets this much. There has to be something wrong. Someone's hating on me. There has to be something terrible, which is just anxiety in a nutshell. I'm what's wrong now? And I'm going through and I'm scrolling through every comment. I'm just seeing tags, and I'm yo, holy shit! People are really
actively saying,
dude, freaked me out. I laid in bed from 4 to 6 being what have I done?
Now, if you have 14 people that you were going to have perform there, you obviously have there was 3-4 people that you're friends with that that you guys work with, Benji, Mars Jackson.
Yep.
I mean, all them. But how do you decide who else there is? Because I feel you had a lot on your shoulders with that because there's so many people in Pittsburgh, and there were some people on that bill that I didn't expect to see on there, but and there's some people that I did expect to see on there that I didn't, and I was real curious on how you guys chose who you were going to pick because if you have fucking almost 13,000 comments, how are you going to pick fucking 10 people?
Yeah. So obviously when you think of Pittsburgh music, and obviously too as well if you let 15 people curate that lineup, I'm sure they'd all be differently.
Absolutely.
So
they
like,
would.
yeah, like there's no way in hell I'm doing this show and not putting like my best friend Mars in the show.
100%,
But, like,
dude.
Mars didn't make that show because like he's my boy. Like regardless if we go out tonight, like for this.
If you look at his work ethic and his accolades, you could tell. Just the same thing with Benji.
Yeah, like I've worked with Benji before. I worked with Mars before. I worked with PK and his boy with Pet Zebra before. Like I've worked with a handful of these artists before, and like also too as well. It was like cool. Like these people have been making an impact. Like PK is dropping a song.
PK is the illest dude out right now.
Benji's honestly in a different state almost any other week now. It seems.
and I was never really familiar with him too much.
Yeah.
You know, I heard like a song here or there, but some of them people like I never really listened to, and I started listening to his shit, and he got a dope ass vibe. Like he got that like Caribbean style, like it just makes you feel good.
Yeah.
And and that was the first time of me seeing him like perform and everything, and it was just so sick. There was
He's so good at
there was
performing,
people. The one dude, he really stuck out to me. His name was
Live from the City?
Live from the
'cause he came out
City,
yelling.
dude.
Yep.
Bro, I was like, who the fuck is this dude? And honestly, he had that fucking place jumping.
Yeah.
And
I'm
that dude
so
was
glad he did that.
he was super sick.
Like I think we were messing with him, and he like was joking back. He's like, I may not ever get to go on this stage again. Like,
I know.
I'm coming out full force,
And I
was
love
like, ooh.
that.
I was like, that's dope. Like I never even thought of it.
I was right
like,
next to my dude, and I was like, at first I was like, what the fuck is this dude doing? And I was like, damn, like he's up there like living it for a second, like like regardless of who is there and like how many people, that dude is fucking drinking it all in.
Yep.
And honestly, I was like, you know, I didn't forget him because like he made an impact. Like he definitely had people getting going.
Mm-hmm.
It's like people are getting all pumped up to that.
Yeah, and I guess
I never heard of him either before that either.
yeah. I mean, I really don't know the first time I stumbled across him, but like he'd been, I guess, like to be like corny, but like he's been on the timeline like this whole year.
Yeah, for sure.
Like just and like that was kind of how we chose. It was like, all right, cool. When I think of like Pittsburgh music, like who are the people that pop up first?
Yeah.
And like that's not like, hey, these are like the only people I like. Like not that I don't
No, but
enjoy
like
other artists, but
the
it was
people
like,
that are making that you see doing things.
we chose people that we knew that we've worked with before that were really good and were going to kill it. People that like we also had just discovered because they had been making moves throughout, like Fed the God. Like,
Yeah.
I just had stumbled across him this year.
Yeah, me too. I didn't know too much about him, and he fucking killed it too.
And whenever like Nick was a good bit of like that setup, like that song link was like a lot of like their curation. But
Yeah,
like when
what's that all about? I don't understand where they come into play. Were they just like sponsoring shit?
No. So like not to like speak on Songlink's behalf, but like Songlink is essentially like a tool for artists to utilize. So it takes like your Apple Music, your Spotify, your SoundCloud.
Oh, okay.
All of these links puts into one link. So whenever an Instagram and social media, you can only put one link in a bio at a time.
Yeah.
So if you drop an album and you're streaming your album's on 4 different platforms, you can't put 4 different links. You don't want to just put Apple Music because Spotify might be more, et cetera, et cetera. So use Songlink to kind of consolidate. Like 50 Cent uses it.
It's almost like that, like link tree or whatever it's called.
Yeah, it's just another version.
Okay, yeah. No, I just want. I didn't mean to compare it like that.
No, you're good. So like that's like an element that they do. Nick went to the same college as me. Like we had been chatting before on how to work together, and I was like, yo, I got. It was the first thing that me and Nick ever worked on was CD10. So I was like, yo,
really?
I got like CD10 coming up. Like, if you want to help me with something, like I need help, and like that's when they came in and kind of curated the artist. So Nick would send me artists all the time that he discovered, people we discovered from the comments section. And just in general, like other like people, like we didn't have like a board of people, but like just another like few people behind the scenes that like didn't want to be involved, but it was like, yo, like I'll definitely like pitch some ideas.
Yeah, absolutely.
That like sent us artists, and we kind of just like threw it together, and the list honestly kind of got out of control. Like we didn't plan on doing 14 people. Like it just kind of got to the point where it was like, yo, what if throw this guy on? And I was like, all right, cool. Well, it can't hurt. There was not, like
it ran over, like the time ran over of when they were supposed to. So like, how did you? What was the original idea of time?
So the original concept was to have the local performance be like 45 minutes, but like I knew that if I told people 45, it would take at least an hour to an hour and like 15. So like. The goal was to keep it under an hour.
Yeah.
The bill had like Pete Butta for like 2 hours, the Song Lee for an hour, and then Andre Power for 2 hours.
Yeah.
But like
That dude was ill.
yeah, right? Super cool.
The stage looked just dope as fuck too.
Yeah, I just wish that I really thought that like the Song Link Showcase would get everyone to come into the crowd and then enjoy Andre's set, and I think that a lot of people after this showcase felt that the show was over, so a lot of people kind of like congregated back in different spots. So like that was
That's a good point.
just a lesson that I learned.
I honestly, I mean, to be fair, I honestly didn't know who he was. I didn't know that there was a act after that.
Yeah, see, and that's just something I learned. Like,
well, that's fine, but I mean, I'm just saying, like, from my experience, like, I if I would have known his name, obviously it would have rang a bell.
Yep.
But like, I thought it was going to be Pete in the beginning, and then these people after that,
dude. So yeah, like the goal was to do Pete because like Pete was always like our signature DJ for it.
Yeah, and he's super nice.
Yeah, Pete's dope, and like that would be cool. And then it was cool to do the showcase that'll get everyone on stage. Excuse me, everyone on in the what's it called? The floor, the pit.
Yeah, the pit, whatever. In the fucking pit.
I start talking for like 30 minutes and my brain shuts off. Get everyone in the pit, and then from there, like it'll be the perfect segue to introduce Andre and have him DJ. So Andre was like a co-founder of Selection Radio, which is a radio station I've been listening to since like they do one every week. And I started listening to them when there was like 167 or something.
What is it, a podcast?
Selection. It's just a curated list, like playlist.
Where do you
like,
find it?
Mixed SoundCloud, Apple Music now.
Oh, okay.
Started on like Rinse FM, SoundCloud, and now it's like Apple Music.
Okay.
Like live, like Saturdays at 8 p.m., like once a week type deal.
Oh, it's like a station almost.
Yeah, it's an actual thing.
Oh,
like it's
okay.
legit. And
That's dope.
when I started listening to them, it's like a 2 to 3 hour. It was 3 hours, I believe, back then. Now it's 2, but it's just like very just new music. Every single time I listen to it, I Shazam half the songs, and like I just know my library increases by like 15 tracks at least.
Yeah, for sure, right?
And it's really good music to put on in the background when you're like cleaning your house, working on something. Say you're at Thanksgiving with your parents, like you can put Selection on, like you know it's not gonna like throw off the vibe. You know what I mean?
You
like,
hear that if you're Thanksgiving, it's coming up. Put on
right?
Select.
So, and it's like just a cool playlist, and I just like listened to it for years. And I brought Wahooligan, which was like a DJ under like that Selection family for a block party, and I saw that it worked really well.
Yeah.
RB, Ryan Brown from Fresh, he brought Joe K, the founder of it. He sold it out there. Like I was like, damn, like people do like Selection in Pittsburgh. Do we have thousands of people that enjoy Selection? Not yet.
Yeah.
But like I truly enjoy Selection, and Andre is just another person that represents that. So I was like, boom, like let's get Andre.
Yeah.
And like now I look at it and I'm like, damn, like I needed like another like a hip hop performer or like someone to go in after the showcase. That would have been ill. You know, like that would have kept people around. Like it
Kept people in the pit rather than like everyone's just like done
Everyone
with it.
went back to the bar and continued drinking and hanging out.
That makes sense. I
And-
didn't think about that.
I didn't think about it either as well. And to me, like, I don't have to work on Friday if I don't want to get up at, you know what I mean? I don't have to get up at 8 if I don't want to. So, like,
Yeah.
I don't really consider Thursday like any other different day.
Yeah.
But, like, I have to realize, too, as well, like, we did that till 11 instead of 9. Usually it's 6 to 9. I did 2 extra hours for Andre and did it at 11. A lot of people have work.
He was there for 2 hours?
Yeah, he was there from 9 to 11. He performed.
Now, what was his experience of it? Did you talk to him after it?
I really didn't get to chat with him too much. I hope it went well. I don't see why not. I'm
Yeah.
friends with his like people that work with him, and like they were really stoked to like see and be in Pittsburgh. But I have no idea. He performs at huge venues and crowds, so I'm sure he was underwhelmed.
Yeah.
But at the
Sure he
same
was
time, like
underwhelmed.
I hired him to just the DJ. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
dude, I was
Like,
listening to it for a minute, and it was like I was like, "Damn, this is crazy!" And he had all the pink lights and shit like that, and I was like, "This
Yeah.
looks fucking crazy."
Shout out Stage AE.
Yeah,
We
shout
had
out
the
Stage
whole
AE.
lighting program.
That was
or whatever.
now. Whenever that pops up in another question, like, did you have any like say into any of that shit, or did you just let them run with it?
No, like that was us. Like I sat, like I had an actual meeting with like their lighting team. We sat down. I
that's
told them
dope.
like the run of show, like how I envisioned it, and like they had, for example, like certain examples, I guess, of like the way that their lighting system works.
Yeah.
And it was more or less them just showing me everything and being like, ooh,
Yeah, what triggers in your mind?
yeah, and being like, you can skip that. And then from there, like we found out like what really just we thought worked for the theme, like, and what just kind of tied everything together. It was like,
Yeah.
cool. If you have these 5 elements of lighting and like movements, then like let's have it like go from A to B to C to D.
Yeah.
And like kind of laid out like the show is in like chapters, and was like chapter 3, like Andre's about to come out, like I need this type of lighting. Just to kind of like help people
makes sense.
understand it changed.
That's
But it was more or
that's
less just a
interesting.
conversation with them.
That's interesting to think about.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, like him being in there, like so it was the performances, and now to choose these people. I mean, did you get any blowback from people?
I mean, there's always going to be blowback from someone.
Yeah, but like
we got way more positive than we got any blowback. I actually, excuse me. No, I don't think so. I mean, nothing that I remember right now sitting here talking to you.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure.
I was curious because like
something. Said
I'm sure
shit.
someone had to say something. Someone that performs had to say something. But I was curious about that because like you hear all this like I talk to people that do music and shit like that, and you hear about like how Pittsburgh's like super cliquey, and it's just like people roll with certain crowds. So it's like I'm sure that you had someone saying shit to you.
Yeah. Well, the way that I look at it is like I hope this doesn't come off like a bad way. I don't have to do these events.
Yeah.
And I don't charge anyone to show up these events.
Yeah.
And I give away literally almost everything for free at these
Don't
events.
fucking come.
And if you don't like the lineup, then I'm sorry. There's hundreds of people in this city that probably make music. And I think that the way the world works is like if you want to work for a certain company, you just can't keep emailing their resume once a week and just hope that they open it. Like you have to figure out a way to weasel your way into that building,
you gotta make it happen
and get your job. You gotta make it happen. So like, mad people DM'd us. We looked at who DM'd us. We did our contest submission, and we also reached out to everyone, and everyone said yes. Not a single person said no.
Yeah.
So like, it was just a mixture of everything. It kind of just happened organically.
How much was each set? How many minutes did people
literally
have?
like we told each artist they had like 3 to 4 minutes, which is like absurd. Like usually you have like 15, 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah, but
sets.
I mean like that was sick though. I really like that as far as like if you rather have like 3 people have 15-minute sets or just like a bunch of different people just perform, because like if you have 3-4 minutes, like you're gonna pick your dopest song.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just like people are gonna come out with like their hits and shit. And it was dope to hear that because there were so many people there that I didn't know about, and it's like I was I was bouncing around listening to these people too, and I thought that was a cool take on it though, as far as like short sets and like getting more people in there.
Yeah, literally the goal that was written on paper before any artist was written was all I want to do is have a 45-minute seamless set that it is all local music. So like literally like in the example that I thought of was like just because Mars Jackson, PK, and Pet Zebra have a song together, but also have really good solo like single songs too as well. Was like how dope would it be if like Mars came out did one song, then PK was featured on that song and he came out, or you know what I mean? I'm just making up whatever. Benji came out. Then after Benji's song, like PK came out, and it was like Mars walks off this. And like I'm just like speaking that out, and I'm like, yo, like how can we do this? And like from there we started filling in the pieces, and it was almost like cool. Like we have these like 4 artists that we want to utilize. From there, like what other artists can kind of can we piggyback off of them so that it all makes sense and that it isn't just like random people coming out. Like all these people that we kind of had on stage all work together and are almost in the same circle.
Yeah, for
Even though I'm sure we did leave people out. We definitely left people out, but it's like, how can we do this to create a performance and like an experience for this 45 minutes to an hour?
Yeah.
And like, how can we do that?
And I feel like if you would have added more people to it, like if you would have only gave Pete like an hour or like an hour and a half, I feel like it would have been too crazy.
Agreed.
Because like the fucking stage was packed back there, and it was crazy to see all that. Then it's just like you have all these people coming out, and like, now was there problems in the beginning? Like was there any problems like at all as far as like technical shit?
No, just
that you ran into
communication between telling people like where they can park, where they can't park, how many people can you bring with you backstage, because or like in the production lot. Like,
for sure.
And like little things like that I wish I would have known. Or just, I mean, I knew of having to create a production lot list, but I never realized that like someone may show up and be like, hey, I have 3 people with me trying to film, and I'm like, yo, like I didn't know that. Like we have a film team already, bro. Like I can't
that's a good point.
everyone back here. You know what I mean? And like I didn't expect any of that. I'd never. So like, yeah, I could have. I did know to a T that like there'd be little problems, but that was really the only issue. Was like, hey, I drove. Like, where can I park, bro? Like, and I'm like, yo, just like find a spot in the lot. Like, we're surrounded by parking lots. He's like, well, I want to park near stage E, and I'm
literally
like,
surrounded by parking lots.
And I'm like, well, to be honest, like we only have 12 parking spots, and I have 12 vendors that all paid to be here. Just park your car, and like you could still come in the back way and like do your little VIP shit, but like you just can't put your car back there. And it's not because I don't want you to, it's just because
you literally can't.
I have
fit
U-Hauls, like I have vehicles of people that have like bags of like their stuff for their tables, like heavier duty shit that they need closer walking access to drop off their stuff. Then you do. You know what I mean? So like if I would have known that, I think that the communication, it's no one's fault.
No,
It's
but
my
it's
fault,
it's understandable.
and no one was like mad. It was just like, oh, bet. Like I had no idea, and it's just like I get it. Like I didn't even get it. But,
Yeah.
like now I do.
What about the lineup of the performers? Like, was there any like idea?
Who
of-
goes first? Type
Yeah.
shit? No. So like no one was in order based off of the fact of like we think that Benji's the best, so he goes last.
Yeah.
It was the sense of like how ill would it be if Bill Waves came out in a solo spotlight freestyle, then Sierra comes out because they had a song together.
Yeah.
So like
it was
that was
wild.
how we built the playlist. So essentially the playlist. And then from there it was like cool, like we have these winners now, like let's sneak them in too. And then from there it's like cool, like after PK, you know what I mean, like this would look great. Or then after that we can move into this. So like Songlink managed a lot of that the most.
Yeah.
And it was more or less just like, what do you think? And I was like, bro, anything we do is gonna, it will hopefully, like, it seems cool to me. Like I don't see why this would be an issue.
For sure.
And like some people were like, yo, I'll do it if I'm like at this place. And like we obeyed a couple of those. But
Yeah.
it was just like all about just figuring out like what makes everyone happy to the best of my ability.
Yeah, what you could actually do instead. I mean, you can't make everyone happy.
No, and it was like, cool, what are your needs? You're about to go do this for us. You're about to go on stage and perform your time, like for us. Like, what do you want? And like everyone was super easy and super chill. So like I don't think there was any issues unless Nick, that's why Nick was stressing out so much. But like I wasn't concerned too much
Yeah.
on that element.
That makes
because it
sense.
kind of already fell into place.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely was it was an interesting night for sure because like I mean, just all the different aspects, like the art stuff to see, different like places. Like I don't drink, but like I had all them like drinks, just trying them out, and it was fun. It was like interactive rather than just going to a show and standing there and waiting for people to just come on, watching it and leaving.
Thanks.
It's like it's interactive, so it like gives like that extra like hands-on feel. You know what I mean? It's like going to the fucking science center. It's like you get to play with fucking shit.
Dude, it's an installment.
Yeah, an installment.
I call them
exactly.
installments versus like events.
I like that.
Just because like we show up and we take over the space like in our own way. Or like in whatever way that I can. And like that's why every creator's drink is different too, because the starting core foundation of the event is the venue. From there it's like cool, like we could probably fit 30 vendors in here. Let's get 30 vendors. That would be the cool factor of this event.
Yeah.
CD10 was more about the music than the vendors. But it was at Stage E, so it's like cool, like let's highlight, you know? So I don't know, that didn't really make any sense.
They were who
You
gives a
get what
fuck?
I'm saying.
They were happy with it though?
Yeah. I mean, no one
That's
told me
dope.
anything.
No
I'm
one-
sure she was just stressed out because we had. So I think I was touching base on it earlier, like the all access thing. Like at the very end, like we wanted Benji to go out last and kind of everyone go out on stage and like throw those balloons around. So I started telling security, I was like, yo, if anyone even looks at you and is like, can I go back there? Just tell them, yeah. Because obviously, like they know someone back there.
Yeah.
They're connected in some way.
Yeah.
Let them back there. There's nothing they're gonna steal. Like we have cases of beer and pizza. Like if they want a beer, everything's free, bro. Like you want to steal a beer from me, go for it.
Yeah.
So, and like that part, like then, but like that was a part too. I didn't really realize like we have all this security staff, and I'm like not telling the main director because my walkie's so
okay.
loud. My walkie-talkie's not even working.
Yeah.
So I'm like telling all the door people, I'm like, yo, just let everyone back so we can have this celebration. But then when Andre came out, Andre's like, I'm thinking Andre doesn't want anyone on stage. Andre wants everyone on stage. He's like, yo, keep the party on the stage.
Oh yeah.
Security is already informed that they should kick everyone out.
Oh,
so it's
man.
just like learning all of that shit was just crazy. And it was on the fly too, because I really didn't think no one would want to be on stage during Andre's set. Like I figured they'd want to be in the crowd, dance and have a good time. And same with Andre. Well, you know what I mean? And we kind of pulled that on the fly, and it was like, cool. Who do we like? How do I? You know what I mean? What do we do? And like, I know that she was stressed out because we had mad like my person at stage E. She was probably a little stressed out.
There's
we
a
just
1,000 people on that.
Yeah, we
fucking
just had a
stage.
ton of people back there, and they're used to like no one being allowed backstage. You're never
Yeah.
allowed backstage at like a concert, you know. And the fact that we're like, no, let everyone backstage. Like we don't care.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah, it's just different, and she's
not
like
used
freaking
to it.
out. Everyone doesn't really need a wristband at that point, but at the same time, like you have all these people that were hired to keep things in line. What
Yeah.
do you know?
They got to do their job. Yeah,
So,
that's understandable.
Like that was a fun learning thing, and like now I know.
Now, as far as funding for all this show, it's like you basically reach out to people and they use part of their marketing budgets, and that's how essentially like the show gets paid for, and all these people get paid.
Yeah, and just putting pieces together. Like, cool, we have a stage. Who can we work with on this stage?
Yeah.
Cool, I have 8 tables. Who can I link these 8 tables with? Cool, I have like this really like aesthetically pleasing like room upstairs. Like, what can we put in that room?
Yeah.
And then from there, it's like, cool, I have all these like possibilities or opportunities.
Absolutely.
And then from there, it's like, cool. Like, I mean, I have like my own marketing agency to an extent, or like marketing business, this is me. But let's see how they all tie in. And it's like, I have these other people that like want to work and they want to contribute towards the event. Like, what can we do? And it's about just like having like all these on the right side and merging them with all the people on the left side and like seeing like what makes sense. And then from there, like knowing how much knowing the overhead and what I needed to get done and what things had to get ordered and what, you know what I mean, what things had to get paid for.
Absolutely.
How much resources do we need? And like divvying them up based on like how we thought each spot or opportunity at that event was valuable for each of those brands.
Ah, okay.
But like doing that math in the beginning was a lot different than doing it at the very end. Like, I look at my spreadsheet going into the event, it was half of what I actually had to do just because so much stuff popped up at the end.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
And like
Now you know though. I mean, like now it's like this whole thing is just like a good piece to the resume. It's like you're putting together these like shows that are like more and more like intricate, more and more moving pieces, and like you know, this first one you definitely got thrown to the wolves, but like everyone after this, you know what to expect and what to like account for and like how to deal with it.
Yeah, I feel so much like I was definitely like, screw it, I'm not doing an event for like another year. But like now, like it's not being away from it for like a month. I'm like, all right, cool. Like I can't wait to get back into this because now I know. And like
it's
now
just
I
more
know
shit
what
you
I
know.
can ask for and like how like. So there's a lot of brand like, and when you're doing something when I do something I've never done before, and I like reach out to a company, I'm like, hey, I need A, B, and C. They're like, well, we'll give you A, and like I'm just like, yes, cool, great, perfect. I'll figure out B and C somewhere else. But like now I can go into like CD11 and 12 and be like, hey, I need A, B, and C. And they'll be like, well, I'll give you A. I'm like, well, all right, this isn't going to work. Like I have someone that'll give me A and B at least.
Absolutely.
You know, so like
it's just like it's a big thing for people. It's proof. It's what people see. People see the product and like they see the proof that you're able to make some shit happen. So I feel like it's obviously going to work to your benefit as far as like people see it. They saw it like, cause you were in the media, like write-ups in paper and shit like that. And it's cool to see that. So like, I mean, I feel like that would just give, you know, if I was running a bigger company, you know, I would look at your model, your business model, and what you do and the product you put out. And it would be, I would have a easier time giving you more.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I hope, like, I don't know. Like, I just think in life in general, too, as well, like, reaching out to certain brands and them saying, like, sure, well, we'll do this and this. And then me being like, all right, cool, that's not what we're looking like. I'm going to go somewhere else. Like, being able to say no, like, it takes a minute to, like, get to because, like, certain brands said no, and it's like, cool, well, I have to take this, whatever, because I've no one else. Like, we're 2 weeks out.
Did people say no to you?
Oh, yeah. I get more no's than I get yeses every single event.
That's
it's
all right,
always
though.
like I like hit up everyone I know that I at least have like the resources, like contacts, you know what I mean? Like the people I already worked with before and be like, hey, like we need this. And they'll be like, yeah, sure. And then it's like, cool, like who else can we reach out to? And it's just like not cold calling people, but figuring out like the pieces and just like asking and like, yeah, I don't have anyone like specific. I'm not gonna throw anyone on the bus, but like tons of brands. Like we had concepts for like there was no beer in that event. But like
that's a good point.
Like I had a whole beer concept, but it just didn't work out because like by the time I thought of that beer concept, it's kind of short. Like that company is like like we could do this, but like we're about to do this.
Yeah,
you know, and it's like fuck, like I didn't even think of that, and like. Also, too, like...
There's such a saturation with beer now. It's cool to go to a place that has cocktails.
Yeah, and that's like my lane now, too. It's like, all right, cool. I know beer is covered and wine isn't even covered, but it is to an extent. Like, I could do this cocktail thing. And then, too, as well, like, there's no ticket fee to get to these things. So, like, Beer Fest, you can drink all that beer, but you pay, what, like $4,500 or whatever? Liquor Fest. I'm not. This sounds terrible, but like Liquor Fest, like CD10. Like if CD10 was a Liquor Fest, it was like, yo, you don't have to pay, and you still got to go taste all these things. It wasn't to that scale, but for CD11, like
could be.
Diageo, like literally was like, I told him I was like, hey, we need A, B, and same thing. Like I need A, B, and C, and they're like, well, we've never worked to do this scale before. Like we'll do this. And like we'll talk for CD11. I'm like, all right, cool, like deal, like bet, like I get it.
That's
that
cool,
works.
understandable for sure.
And like there's liquor companies that didn't work out with that we had really good ideas for. Like the beer thing could have worked out. So many restaurants, because I didn't realize that in July it's a pretty slow month for restaurants.
Yeah,
in July and August especially. So like, why would I reach out to restaurants and like try and like ask them to like donate time, services, product, all this to
they're already slow, and
to my event, it's already slow.
Yeah.
So like on paper, it's like, yo, you guys aren't doing too well this month. Like, take it easy on like budgets. Then Cody comes in and he's like, yo, we need this, this, and this. It's like, nah, man, like we'll do this later. So like learning just little bits of like how
the sausage is made.
Yeah. And you know, exactly. And like too as well, like cool, like these are what these brands benefit from us. Let's make sure we do this at the same time, and like make sure we just really home in on like what they benefit from this, and like let's focus on that.
Yeah.
Not like, hey, like you'll get 50 likes on your Instagram post. Like, yeah, sure, that's a part of it, but like, yo, also like A, B, C, D, you know.
I bought some fucking beard oil the other day, and I click on it, and it said get 40% off, and I click on it, and it says add your Instagram in there.
Wow.
And you click your Instagram, and they're like, my personal one, they're like, nah, you don't qualify. You don't have an average of like 150 likes on all your photos.
What?
And I was like, I've never seen anything like that.
Jesus Christ, so they're not going to let you buy their product because you don't have...
No. They're not going to give me the discount.
40% off.
Yeah, the discount of it. So it's an influencer discount.
I guarantee you then if you did have the like ratio, they would be like, cool, well, if you follow us and use this hashtag, then you can be eligible for this code.
Yeah, come on now. Yeah. Whatever. So, I mean... All in all, though, you're happy with how things turned out?
Yeah, hell yeah. It was like...
Anything that you were unhappy with?
That I didn't get to go home, change, and come back and enjoy it. And that's just my fault. Like,
you didn't even get to have no swaggy ass shit on.
I know, right? I got to wear my shirt that I made with Shop 42, so boom. Like, that was it. But like, no, I just wish I would have got to enjoy it, and I wish that I would have just understood the, like... day of shit, and like how that would have been, like if I would have managed, if I would have known what the day of would have looked like, I would have managed my time better, had more time to like sit back and relax and like check it out. But it was just like throw in the deep end, make it out, and when it's done, it was like, I'm not bleeding. Like, this is great. Like, everyone's cool, right? Nothing bad happened. Like, making sure no one got in a fight.
No one got kicked out or anything?
No. I mean, knock on wood, we never have any problems, and like it's really good. Like,
yeah, like I was expecting to see like, you know,
someone over drinking,
getting super fucked up, or a fight, or like badass, like a lot of weed in there, but like it seemed pretty tame.
Nothing, and like I think that's what comes with like expanding to bigger venues, that people are like, oh, bet, like you go to stage all the time, you know, you can definitely get away with smoking in there, but like. You're like in a museum, like you don't want to be disrespectful. I'm sure someone will always be disrespectful
for sure,
where they're at if they want to be. But like that's why I try and go to venues that are like notable to an extent. So like you do want to like kind of dress up and like I don't know, it just like subconsciously gets you ready for like a night of like bet like it's gonna be a good night out, like positive vibes, like nothing bad, like not like, all right, bet, it's another Saturday night, I'm about to go out, like if I see this dickhead I'm gonna punch him in the face, you know what I mean?
For sure.
Again, like, I hate that dude, you know, like that shouldn't really pop up. I'm sure it can, but thankfully we've been really good with that and haven't had like any issues until my party tonight someone punches me in the face. But
you get punched in the face.
It goes a long way. Like you'd be surprised. Like people wonder about like it sucks because like on paper, like you ever had a fight at your party, you put it one, your insurance triples.
Yeah,
but like
that's
in
a
the
good
meantime,
point.
like the insurance agents didn't even see the fight. They don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Like, the block party is a good call. Like there's the whatever the officer is, the whatever chief of police, he'll like call you in the beginning of every year, and he's
Hank
like,
the security guard.
What's up?
Hank the security guard.
Yeah. So the for the police at the block party, for example, it's like, how many incidents have you had in the last year? I'm like, I haven't had a single incident. Like there's obviously like one like homeless person or someone that like shows up and like tries to like get drunk, you know what I mean, bring their bottle in, and I'll like be honest with him, I'll be like, yo, there's a couple homeless people trying to sneak in bottles of Vlad every once in a while, and he'll be like, cool, well like traditionally like you have this many people showing up, we need to have this many officers, but like if you don't think it's necessary, like I don't either. And I'm like, bet, like cool, you know. So like having like that rap, and that carries over each year, so like thankfully we've had a good rap.
It's like an insurance agent on your car. The longer you go without a fucking wreck,
exactly,
more leeway you got.
Yep. So, and Pittsburgh's such a small city. Usually everyone in these venues are all in the same community. So like,
Yeah.
everyone knows everyone. And I guarantee you, whenever I inquire about an event, they text 3 of their friends like, yo, so how are these Cody Baker kid events? You know what I mean? Like, so people fighting or whatever it may be.
For
and
sure.
I think that plays a
That's
huge
a good
role
point.
in Pittsburgh too, as well, as shitty as that sounds.
Well, I mean, like, so what's the next move with all of it?
So I definitely, so I'm kind of like, I don't know, I'm like stuck. It's like the goal after stage AE for CD10 was to then downsize and start over and like kind of go back to the coffee shop vibe in other cities and kind of do like a small like coffee shop tour, different cities, smaller CDs, go back to like reaching out to local brands, grabbing booze, doing it like on a one bartender type deal. But then there's also a part of me that's like, or we could do PNC Park, or we could
Right.
do like, maybe I could do the casino. Like
Yeah,
maybe I could
fuck
do
around, go to the
PPG.
casino.
Like I could still keep going. Like there's still bigger venues in different places that we
Yeah.
can work with.
I think that's a dope idea though, as far as like going back to like a smaller place and like expanding. You know, like you can keep building a foundation here in Pittsburgh, but like, I mean, it's just going to be in here in Pittsburgh. Like if
Yeah.
you expand it, like you already got some ties over in Philly, it's like wouldn't be a bad idea to do it over there, and then just kind of keep going from there. You know?
Yeah, so yeah, I don't know. Like there's like those two concepts. Like I can downsize and try and travel with it. I don't really know how I would do that, but at the same time, like I did it in Philly and we fill up Philly. Like I'm sure I can figure it out. It's not too hard. I just have
Yeah.
to do it. And then there's also like, or we could just keep trying to get bigger.
Use the momentum.
Yeah, use the momentum. Like, let's go big for CD11. Let's go big for 12. Then from there, like, CD11 doesn't actually have to be like small somewhere else. It could be a PNC Park, whatever. So,
Yeah.
not sure. Still letting that idea marinate. I am doing something with the Pirates in 2020. So I just started getting dates from them.
Jeez.
So like on a smaller scale, like doing like something during a game is the goal. I have like a trick up my sleeve for a bunch of free shit, of
All right,
course.
all right.
And like I'm working on that, and then I would like to just I have these monthly events that we do like on a smaller scale, like
Yeah.
trying to take those and just spice it up. Like not trying to do the same thing every single year. Like I'm finally getting like brands that are willing to work on a month-to-month basis that I can utilize for like the block party and clocked
Yeah.
out. And trying to like travel with Kimpton and
That's dope,
kind of
dude.
activate just in other cities on some smaller scale stuff.
It's
too.
dope for sure.
I think though. I don't know.
I think that you know, it's just interesting to like see you like kind of put all this shit together from a distance. I mean, like it's cool. Like you said, the people that are in the same like vein that we're all in, as far as like, you know, everyone sees everyone's Instagram, like come across people if you know anyone in Pittsburgh, and it's cool to see someone just like doing things that are a little bit different. You know what I mean?
Thanks. It's the only way you can make money nowadays is if you
Yeah, you got to
just
be
do
different.
something wild.
You got to do some work, and you got to be willing to work, and you got to do it differently.
Yeah.
And I fuck with that. I really do. All right. So I mean, did I miss anything?
No, I think that's good. I mean, that was definitely the struggles of my July for sure.
Well-
that was July in a nutshell.
All paid off.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right.
I'm happy.
So obviously I do an ending segment with all my guests. You
yeah.
have done this before, but I'm sure that along with you, I don't remember any of the answers. But I do an ending segment called Desert Island Questions.
Yeah.
I give each of my guests 3 categories to take with them on a desert island to exhaust until their demise. So the first category to take with you on a desert island is things to watch, and it could be anything you want: movies, TV shows, whatever.
Just one thing?
3 things.
Oh, 3 things I can bring.
3 things.
Definitely bring in The Office.
Yep.
If I can find every single season in one, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you the whole series.
Yeah, all right, so I'm trying to bring the series of The Office. Maybe Action Bronson's Fuck That's Delicious, or his Ancient Aliens.
Fuck, that's delicious. So
Dude.
good. Didn't it just come out with another one?
Yeah, Ancient Aliens. That's on tonight is not at 9 as well. I'm not turning the doors.
Wait, it's not Fuck, that's delicious? Is
No,
Ancient
well,
Aliens?
I think he's working on it, but Ancient Aliens is what's been coming out on a weekly basis here at 9, like 9 o'clock. They drop like a new episode every day or something.
Ah.
So Ancient
Oh,
Aliens.
yeah, it is. I saw the one. I saw the one video with someone on there. It was so
many people
fucking
on it.
funny.
I just love like his attitude and how like he goes against like the typical script of TV.
He does what he wants.
Some days when I'm freaking out, worrying like, if I could do this for the next couple of years, I'm just like, yo, Action Bronson literally just fucking.
He don't give a fuck.
He doesn't give a shit.
And I love
like,
it.
And he still kills it. And like
Yeah.
I love his like attitude and like the way that he values like his business. So it's like cool. It's like I always aspire to be him. So like when I get anxious at night or whatever, I put on Action Bronson TV shows. So I'm like, bro, this dude got it. Like I could do this shit too.
Fuck That's Delicious was that was one of the best.
Dude, so good. Just so
Yeah.
clever.
It's
And-
just cool to see friends enjoying things together and like kind of being like let in of their like, you know, inside jokes and shit.
Yeah. And not to segue, but like Friends series, that would
That's
be a good
trash.
one. You don't like Friends?
That's trash.
Damn, I do like Friends. I mean, I would watch Friends. Or I'd bring like The Dark Knight maybe because that's like still my favorite movie.
So good. I went and like I said, I saw Jack White last night.
Yeah.
He was wearing a Batman logo. It said Berg on. I'm sure you've seen the shirt, but he said he told a story. He was like James Cameron. Is that or who the fuck directed it? Was it James Cameron? Not James
my
Cameron.
God. I just watched this literally on Sunday.
Christopher
Nolan?
Christopher Nolan. That's it. He was like, Christopher Nolan offered me to play the Star Spangled Banner in the scene.
Oh, yeah.
And he said he turned it down. He had to turn it down because he said Jimi Hendrix owns the Star Spangled Banner. And I was like, damn, that's fucking
hard.
dope.
Yeah.
Sickest thing about last night, they were setting up for him, and these fucking roadies brought out tape measures of how high his mic has to be.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of that
Dude,
before.
dope as fuck. It blew my mind whenever I watched that. He was like measuring it, and then the fucking my buddy Dylan was like, I saw him somewhere else, and one of his mics fell down, and he fucking lost his mind. His mic fell down once, and some dude ran out, picked it back up, and then the fucking other dude in the raconteurs kicked it over to be an asshole and fell down again, and it fell down one more time, and I was like, that fucker's gone. I was like, he's
for
probably
sure.
gone.
I wonder what his rider looked like. It was probably like only the yellow M&Ms.
Honestly,
Something
dude,
crazy.
if I could ask anything, I'm about to incorporate that. What would be on your rider in a green room?
Oh, yeah, that's hard.
We'll answer that after. Answer that after. So you had three. I'm gonna. You know what? You get credit for that. Matt Christie gets the death row meal.
Yeah.
You get credit for what's on your rider at the green room.
Dope. I love
That's
it. I
a
love
dope ass question.
I was gonna say, just don't ask me what books.
All right. Well, I'll switch that up. All right. So yeah, that's a good segue. Now, second thing to choose is I usually ask people 3 books. Now I'm gonna say what would be in your rider in your green room.
Awesome, because I couldn't
Damn, that's
tell
such a good question.
So glad I said it because I would have bluffed on the books. All right, I would do sparkling water.
What kind?
And just anything.
Okay.
Like San Pellegrino, like some basic stuff.
Okay.
Coffee, and then I guess like I would choose an alcohol. I guess if it's on my rider, I'm doing like a show. I would normally say red wine or like a wine, but like I would probably just say Hennessy if not.
Okay.
Or Negronis. I do love those.
Man, that's such a good question. That's going to be incorporated
happy.
on all of it now. Congratulations.
But yeah, that would be perfect. Those 3 would do it.
All right. Well, third category is going to be 3 things to listen to.
Oh yeah.
So you got to pick 3 CDs.
All right. I mean, Tosh Sultana right now is crazy. So her most recent.
I don't even know who that is.
Tosh Sultana is a like one-man band from Australia. She literally like sings, plays the guitar, loop pedals, like everything.
Oh, that's dope.
Beatboxes.
I
drum
love a loop
kit,
pedal.
Horns.
You know that Mark Reblet dude?
No, I don't think so.
Dude, he might be the sickest loop pedal person. It's not even a loop pedal. He just sings and plays shit on like a synth.
Yeah.
And turns it in like one video is called How to Shake Your Ass in 2 Minutes or Less, and he fucking made the
Kills it.
dopest song, and he's just this weird ass dude.
Wow.
Sick though. He's coming to Pittsburgh, and I think in like 2-3 weeks.
Word.
But so what did you say, Tosh?
Tosh Sultana or Tosh.
Okay,
She only has like maybe
that's all right. I'll put it on.
2 albums right now. Excuse me. But Tosh, definitely my favorite artist in the past couple years. Number 2, always got to just go with the Travis Scott. Or was this in the sense of like what's new and like what you should listen to?
No,
or
I'm
just, like,
talking
stuff I
about
listen
you're
to?
literally going to be stuck on an island for the rest of
Oh
your
yeah,
life.
this is the island one. Yeah. Oh, Tosh Sultana, Travis Scott. and a selection radio. 200 to be exact.
That's good.
For sure. Like their 200th anniversary one is amazing. I really love that one.
All right. I like that.
Yeah, those would be good because like one's a little bit more chill, the other one's more lit, and the other one's a
Yeah,
mix
you
of
can
both.
get lit all fucked up by yourself.
Yeah, so I'll be good.
Drinking fermented coconut juice.
Yeah, if I'm sad, I can listen to Tosh. If I'm trying to turn up, I got my Travis. And if I'm just working on building a boat or whatever, I'll put on my selection. And that's perfect.
Just put it on by yourself.
Yeah.
All right. Second to last category, or second to last question is the death row meal.
Oh, yeah. All right. I mean, I love a good old...
Come up to that mic a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry. I love a good old baguette.
A baguette?
Yeah, French or Italian baguette for sure with some olive oil.
All right.
That's one of them. Gotta go with the ribs, barbecue ribs. I'm gonna be so mad at myself because I'm definitely gonna forget.
From where,
something.
though?
Oh, I don't even really care, I guess. I don't know like the best rib spot right now off the top of my head.
Honestly, firest ribs I've had in a minute were Texas Roadhouse.
I believe you. Yeah.
Texas Roadhouse is fire.
I know that's like a whole cult in itself. Like, we got the best barbecue here. You know what I mean?
Whatever,
But
dude. I
honestly,
just
off
like
the top of
eating.
off the top of my head, I couldn't really think about it. Yeah, I would say the baguette, ribs, and then I do love a nice like tomato, man. Might have to go with like the tomato salad, like like I feel like I gotta like that's bread, meat, and vegetables. Like,
He said, I do love a nice tomato.
yo, I love it. I had dinner last night. I had like some steak and just a shit ton of tomatoes.
Dude, the thing that was in my house growing up is we would just have white bread, sliced tomatoes, and put some mayo and some salt and pepper on there
Or summer meals.
all day.
Too hot to eat anything else. That was the summer. Yeah, I
That was
agree.
fire.
We didn't do the mayonnaise and the bread, but it would just be like tomatoes, cucumbers, and just like peppers.
I had this football coach who would literally just eat tomatoes like apples.
Yeah, I
like,
do that. I
He,
used to do that too.
it would just be so weird because we would be at football camp and he would just be like ripping this tomato apart.
Yep.
Just so bizarre.
Want that at a garden, like growing up my whole life.
Oh, yeah,
like,
that's fire.
Dude. I'll be in the backyard playing soccer and I just go steal like 50 cherry tomatoes.
Yeah, you can't beat that at
Literally
all. That's
good to
fire.
go.
All right. Last question that I ask everyone is: if you could have a conversation with anyone alive or dead, who would it be and why?
Yeah, I don't even know what I said last time.
I can't remember either.
Oh, you know what? Even though this would be corny and like super predictable, and I know I didn't say him last time.
You said Drake last time.
Oh, I do love Drake. Okay.
I think you said Drake last time.
I would go with Andy Warhol. Only because like I would just be so interested in seeing his transition from Pittsburgh to New York.
Yeah.
It would be like based off of like what he saw. I don't know. I would just be so curious about like what the art community was like in Pittsburgh at the time, like what he was doing on a day-to-day basis, like where he was at, and then like
what year was that?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I
I'm
couldn't
not
even know.
I'm not like I'm saying it sounds corny for me to say Andy Warhol, even though
Whatever.
like, I'm a block away from his museum, but like just the fact that like he went from Pittsburgh to New York and made such a great impact, and like how he had like such a unique lifestyle just from like stuff I've seen on the internet. Like
Yeah.
I'd just be so curious of like what his day to day was. I just think that would be awesome, and be like how he went to New York and like what all of that looked like. You know,
I like that answer. That's a good
right?
answer.
Even though it's such a typical like Pittsburgh,
Whatever. That's a good answer.
right?
All right, dude. Well, I appreciate you like giving the rundown of this.
Yeah,
I feel
hell
like it
yeah,
was
man.
pretty interesting.
It feels good to get off my chest because I feel like it ended and I was like, I have no one to explain. I mean, besides my friends, like they know how much I was freaking out. But I was like,
Well, I mean, like people, we all went there and we all experienced it, and like it went smooth for us because like that's of all your hard work and all the shit you had to deal with. That's why it went smooth for us. So like,
Thanks.
I mean, you obviously got to know. Like, I mean, like I take like I like learning about how things are like done,
Yeah.
and like the shit that people deal with, because like that shit that you deal with, and I mean like if people are trying to plan shows or anything like that, it's like something that you dealt with. They could avoid it. They could fucking learn a little bit more about it.
oh yeah, and I
pretty
think too as
interesting.
well. Like this is, I mean, people throw parties. People have been throwing parties for years.
Yeah.
But like, I preach. I love when people come up to me and they're like, "Yo, like I'm trying to quit my job and I'm trying to be full time this, that, and that." And I'm like, "Yo, like you can literally pay your rent by going out and throwing parties."
Yeah.
Like I'm going out to Goldmark tonight, and like just I'm gonna have a couple of drinks with my friends. I have like a theme that I pitched. It's just like anyone can come up with a concept like this. pitch it to someone and make money off of it.
Yeah.
It's like, and that's why Pittsburgh is so great right now, because it's like every page is blank almost nowadays. Like the next page, it seems to be blank. So it's like, how can I rewrite this? And like, I hope that like while I do these events myself, like to continue obviously to like further the community of Pittsburgh, but also like make a business of my own. Like I hope that like I make it easier for other people to throw parties and like to quit their jobs and do their own shit.
I feel like you make it so it's like it's a reachable goal.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I mean?
So
Like hearing you talk about it, like that's my goal for these podcasts and shit. Is like the reason that I talk to people is because like I want everything to be reachable, to seem reachable. If you have like enough like, you know, work ethic to go do it, like nothing's just going to be handed to you, but it's just like if you do want to work hard and you want to like figure out how to do it, like you can do it.
Dude, hell yeah. I think it's all about attitude.
Yeah, fuck yeah. You can manifest whatever you want.
Yeah.
I told Mikey and Big Bob, like I was like, I've fucking been telling people I'm gonna get you on here.
Yeah.
Just
boom.
left.
Just did it.
Just
Literally
did it. It's fire. People, you first ones, you stayed for the end of the podcast. They're coming up a couple weeks. Don't sleep on it. 2 hours of raw emotion from Mikey and Big Bob. But I don't know, dude. I'm pumped about it. I'm pumped for you. You got good success. I like.
Same with you, man. I love it. This is so consistent and just so cool. And I'm looking here at like so many stickers.
I appreciate
just of
that.
different like it all ties in to your overall brand, but like all different. Like
Yeah, it's all
t-shirts and,
different.
like, stickers.
Shout
It's
out
different
Dirty
items.
Bird.
Take a sip, you'll love it. Hell yeah.
All right. Well, plug all the shit you want to plug.
To Bakery, TEH Bakery on all platforms. That's not the word.
Yeah, platforms.
Social media networks. The bakery was taken, so I had to use TH, and now people make fun of me for it, so I know that it works.
That's all right.
And then Creatives with an S, drink for the free stuff. And that's pretty much it.
All right. Everyone else that's listening, I appreciate it as usual. I'll call you right back on Instagram. I'll call you right back across the boards. Hit me up. Let me know what you like, what you dislike. Give me some information, some feedback, and, throw me an email. Let me know if you got anyone you want me to talk to on here. But I appreciate it as usual, and I'll call you right back.